Yo, what's going on, people? What's up? What's up? Welcome to the very first installment of the Sweaty Cast. Now, I know many of y'all are probably wondering, oh god, and see, we've already had our first technical screw up of the stream. There we go. That's how you know you're watching a Neo stream, because something just had to go wrong. It is what it is. But anyway, you guys, I'm sure many of y'all are watching this wondering, what is the Sweaty Cast? Well, the Sweaty Cast is something that me and the homie Gabe here, as I'm sure some of y'all, you might be familiar with Gabe, but you might not have seen him before. Gabe, introduce yourself. Let the people know who you are and what you contribute to this phantom weirdo nation we got growing.
Hey, what's up? I'm Gabe, aka Shut Up Gabe. You guys might know me from the server. You might know me from the moderation chat. I basically been in and around Neo about just about any aspect that comes to any online shenanigans.
I love how this man literally said he's been in and around Neo. Man, we got to give you your first sus award of the stream, and we're not even 2 minutes in. What's going on with that, man? What's going on with that?
I'll collect those rewards.
Yeah, I was about to say. So yeah, the Sweaty Cast is something that the homie Gabe here and we've been thinking about for, honestly, I guess since I kind of got back into doing this YouTube thing semi full time, and we have all these discussions in our own private chat, and we're thinking to ourselves, yo, we should really stream some of these discussions. And
Hey, Chris.
yeah, what's up?
Another error. I guess the audio's low on my end.
Audio's low on your end here. I'll bring you all the way up. Hold up. Okay, that should be good now. Hold on. We're 2 for 3. Don't give us a third one. Hold on. Let me just go and adjust that real quick. Okay, so you should be good now, Gabe. Let the viewers say something and people should hear you.
What's going on, peeps?
All right, so it should sound better, and if not, I'll just boost this a little more. But yeah, so Gabe and we've been thinking about doing this for a couple of months now. We were just kind of ironing out the logistics, the timing, things that we wanted to bring to this show. And at some point, we just kind of mutually agreed that, you know what, we can spend all this time thinking about what would be the perfect kind of show, thinking about the perfect overlays, yada, yada, yada. But none of that stuff matters until we actually get out there and do it, which is what we're doing today. So if you guys are tuning in for the first time, things might change from now with future episodes, different layouts, different templates, different structure, things like that as it progresses. But for this debut episode, we're going to be talking about 3 particular topics, and only 3 topics, considering a lot of those topics we can unpack things and we can have varying discussions. So just to go down the list, we're going to be talking about the Game Awards that just recently wrapped up last week. Cyberpunk 2077's launch, in addition to one topic in particular is spun off from the Game Awards, but we're making its own little segment, and that's going to be Back for Blood. So, Gabe, considering that you are the guest of this show as well, I want to leave it up to you, man. Which one of these sweaty topics are we going to be starting with today?
All right, first off, how well can you guys hear me?
Yeah, let's make sure that y'all can hear him.
Before I get into dialogue.
Yeah, because when this man Gabe speaks, he speaks. So yeah, just do a quick audio test, you guys. You can hear him well.
Perfect.
Everything is good.
Perfect.
Nice.
Better. Good.
Excellent. Happy to hear that, you guys. And like I said before, some folks wondering, like I said, things are subject to change as we progress further and further. Of course, this is an evolving show, so bear with us as far as the technical side is concerned. But yeah, Gabe,
trial and error.
yeah, it's absolutely trial and error, but at least we can say we did it. So, Gabe, which one of these topics are we starting with tonight?
Let's see. I guess still too low.
Still too low. That's a little strange. I'm seeing some conflicting things. People are saying it's good.
Gabe, show us my cat. My cat's I don't even know where my cat is right now. And next time I'll have to lure him in and make him not leave.
This man said lure the cat in. But remember, these are just the cat's worlds, and we're living in them. We have the privilege of living in them. So the jury's still out as far as that's concerned.
He's probably hiding in his Christmas hut, to be honest.
Oh, he's got a whole Christmas hut now. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Dang. All the other cats are just like, must be nice. I didn't get a Christmas hut. Damn.
I love all the other cats. I guess to get started, since it's pretty fresh, I mean, all this is really fresh. I guess the biggest one that we're gonna talk about is Cyberpunk. Honestly, it's trending, and I definitely have some words on it. I know Chris had a mouthful on it.
Which, yeah, since you want to open up with Cyberpunk, I'm gonna let you open this because if any of y'all haven't seen the video I did already, I did an unfiltered 15-minute one take discussion on my time playing Cyberpunk 2077.
It was spicy.
Yeah, it was I actually surprised myself and I showed this to my sister and even she was like, "Wow." Like I haven't seen one of those in a while.
It's an old Neo review right there.
someone said it brought them back to Final Fantasy 15 days and that was saying something.
It was a lot. It was a lot, and all the right reasons. A lot.
Right. So Gabe, I'm gonna leave this up to you, bro. Open up the discussion about Cyberpunk 2077. Go ahead, bro.
Right. So 2012 E3 got this amazing trailer from a project of a new, I guess, near Blade Runner esque type game called Cyberpunk. Really exciting, right? 8 years later, not so exciting. And not saying it's not the greatest game or the worst game, but it's definitely not what we expected at all. Me being a big Witcher fan, I can't say I was disappointed in the way that I already knew these issues were coming. It definitely didn't feel like it was going to live up to anything that they were talking about because I played The Witcher 3 at launch. I don't know how many of you guys played The Witcher 3 at launch. I don't know how well your experience was, but they had a patch that reworked the whole movement mechanic in that entire game. That game had a very, very buggy launch. I actually had to buy it on my PC versus my Xbox because the FPS was so low compared to what it should have been. I mean, now we're at 60, so 30 was the goal. But I mean, now it's a perfectly playable game. But at the time at launch, it had a lot of issues. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, cool. Witcher, pretty big setting. Cyberpunk, a much bigger setting. With all those delays, it definitely was not what I was at all hoping for. And like I said, honestly, I'm not surprised. There's so many talks about the Xbox One and the PS version just not working properly that it's honestly a surprise that they just didn't cancel it or let alone release it later on. It really reminds me of back when, like, I don't know how many of you were remember this era very well, but during like the whole PlayStation 2 and PS3 transition era and the whole Xbox 360 era, during that generation, you guys ever remember when they would make games and they would make them for all the systems? You would have it for the Game Boy, you would have it for the PlayStation 2, and you'd have it for the Xbox 360. And they would be drastically different versions.
Yeah.
That's exactly what Cyberpunk is almost like. Like, it's almost like they're better off not, because I remember getting Transformers. I forgot. I think it was Revenge of the Fallen for the PlayStation 2.
Oh my god.
And I was like, this shit looks hype. This shit looks hype. You know, watching the gameplay. You got it on PlayStation 2. It was a fucking like 2D side scroller compared to the third person action adventure game you got on the 3 and the 360. That's basically what like Cyberpunk was. It's trying to get this version of this game that does not work properly. And I'm sure eventually down the road it'll be patched out to work, but it's not going to be anywhere near what the game's supposed to be. Let alone, like, honestly, I don't even think the version of this should even exist. Like, if you don't have a current gen system, you probably shouldn't play it. Even if you have a current gen system, you probably shouldn't play it either. You should probably wait. It's definitely I don't know, man. It's definitely a PR disaster as well. I mean, Chris, you were not very happy at all.
Yeah, but before I dive into that, you just brought me back talking about that Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. Yo, movie tie-in games. Anybody, I know there's some, this is going to unlock some deep, dark memories in the recesses of y'all's brain. The Harry Potter games. Y'all out there who played those games, you know that every single console version was so fucking different. And then don't even count the PC versions. Them shits was so different. But bro, that's a great analogy. That's a great comparison because that's basically what it is. Now, I can't speak for everybody, but I probably took the biggest L of my life when it comes down to Cyberpunk because I bought 3 copies of the game.
Woo!
Yeah,
Woo!
yeah, three copies of the game. Just give. I said in the video I gave myself the L right then and there. But for those who haven't seen the video, I bought the game, of course, on PC. I bought the game on PlayStation for testing purposes, and I also bought a copy on Xbox because testing purposes. Basically, all right. So what I was doing was essentially
this man owns stock in Project. Don't lie.
Yes, in the 6 million. That's why I'm more pissed off at everybody because I am not getting my returns. I need my dividends, damn it. But I bought 3 versions because, you know, for testing purposes, and also my brother, I let him hold my Series X so he can play Cyberpunk. Because originally I was going to let him use the One X to play Cyberpunk, but he came back to me after an hour with that. And he was like, what the fuck? And I was like, damn, is it really that bad? He's like, bro, I don't know what these people online are talking about saying this thing runs smooth on the One X. He said, let me hold your Series X for a bit. I said, bro, go ahead. And he's been playing that, and he's been having an experience. That's what I'll say. But yeah, it's just been, bro, I've never had a game that I've been so excited about. And Gabe, we're getting a little bit of echoing from your end, so I don't know if it's coming from your headset or not.
Headset, yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely headset.
Right. So basically, I didn't know like how to react to this game, because by the time I'd seen the reports about the game being damn near unplayable, Best Buy had already charged me for the game. So it's not like I could really have realistically canceled my pre-order. I mean, I had the game. I had a decision to make whether or not I would return it or I would just play it, and I decided to play it. And man, it's so strange. I'm not that far into the game. I've only put in a couple hours. But these couple hours I've been playing Cyberpunk have been the most conflicting experience of my life. And for those who have yet to play it or are still early on, we're not going to dive into any spoilers about the story, because I don't think any of us are really to the point where it gets ridiculous with the stories. I mean, I can only speak for myself. I don't know about you, Gabe.
I've gotten I got 10 hours in.
Okay.
I will say like the dialogue and story is really good, but the biggest thing is the performance. It definitely takes the immersion out. And when you play those RPGs games, you're there for either the gameplay or you're there for the story, the immersion. And in this scenario, the gameplay is stronger than the story because that's only for like the talking segments and for parts that involve dialogue, which they're all great. But for the big, like the meat and potatoes of the game, the combat, that can get very janky very quickly. It's one of those things like when it's good, it's good. When it's bad, it's definitely bad.
That was something my brother and I were talking about, because every morning we always ask each other, so how far did you get in Cyberpunk? Did you put any more time into it? And progressively from the launch of the game on Thursday up until now, the time in which I've put into Cyberpunk has diminished, primarily because of the performance. Now, I'm doing like a little bit of a hybrid, so I'm playing it on PC and I'm playing it on PlayStation 5 via backwards compatibility. And even though it runs good on my PC, like I can get 1440p, 60 frames, you know, to me that's a great experience. It's just how inconsistent of an experience it is because of all the bugs, and all that stuff takes me out of the experience when it's like, this is supposed to work. I paid money for this to work, and it's not working. And on the PlayStation, it's been smooth to an extent, but it's not a pretty game to look at. Like, there's missing textures. Textures take a while to load. And speaking which, on like why I said it was conflicting, because I really like a lot of stuff about the world, the lore building, Night City. It's so cool. And it's not surprising. This is coming from the guys who gave us The Witcher 3, and as you can see here, I have 3 copies because Gabe knows I talk his ass off about The Witcher 3 all the time.
Absolutely. That's why I said this man owns shares in Project. We all know this.
Must you divest my portfolio live on camera, Dave? Must you do that? But yeah, like I knew just off the bat, like in terms of world building, lore, dialogue, all that stuff, it'd be great. but it's just such a conflicting experience because the gameplay, it's just it is I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like the hand to hand combat. I mean, the katana stuff is decent,
Yeah, the
but
katana's pretty good. I like the katana. But it's everything else. And then you're taken out of that fun within 15-10 minutes.
yeah, when you realize that your character is T posing butt ass naked on a motorbike,
Missing his head.
straight, yeah, might be missing his head. And it's just a lot of stuff about the game. It just doesn't seem like, as ironic as it sounds, given the development time, it doesn't seem like it was ready for prime time. And that's the worst aspect because it just needs a lot. Like the foundation is there. I can
Yeah,
see the vision of this game, but
that's exactly how I feel.
and I think honestly, that's the most disappointing. I think you'll agree with me on this, Gabe. That's the most disappointing part because we see the makings of what could be a generation genre defining experience that's
Absolutely.
still undercooked, half baked, and it's prompted me to really like the more time goes on, I don't want to put more into Cyberpunk if I know my first experience from beginning to end is going to be marred by all these
Exactly.
technical problems, janky combat. It feels like the game is so laggy even though it's
And
not
that's how I
lagging.
feel. Yeah. Yeah. Like you're on a treadmill.
Yeah, like straight up, man. It's just it's wild, and there's some other aspects we are going to talk about in terms of the reaction because I'm seeing it in the comments. But considering we are running a show, we're not going to take time to talk to every single comment, but we do see the comments. We will address them sooner on. So I mean, just in closing, based off my thoughts on the game and my recommendation, I think that within a year or two, depending, because COVID has thrown a wrench in everything, working from home.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think within a year or two's time, this game might end up being what we originally envisioned. But for right now, as of today, I cannot, honest to God, recommend anybody play Cyberpunk 2077 because your experience, your mileage is going to vary tremendously. What about you, Gabe?
I absolutely agree. I think it's one of those games where I've been pretty vocal about the delays for a while. And I know on like Twitter and on Facebook I made jokes calling them clowns for the delays and stuff. And but my whole theory behind it and what I backed on that delay was that there shouldn't be a release date until they know they have a product ready. Like, wouldn't you be rather to know that, hey, this game's coming out in a month to a couple of weeks if the product is ready versus giving, oh, yeah, it's going to be this date. We're thinking this date it's going to be done, even though we have this many problems, there's many issues. We're going to get through this crunch. And like, once I heard crunch, I was like, it's over and done with. I feel like it's just something that they should have just kept delaying and not even given a release date. Honestly, after the second date pushback, they should have just not given us a release date. They should have just been like, yeah, this is a delay. There's more work to be done. We'll come back later. That's exactly how I feel about it because given this release date, for one, it makes the investors really angsty and pushes for a product because they want a return on it. It causes a giant PR nightmare with just the whole company because now the devs are stressed and trying to get out and rush this product out. Also amongst the pandemic, that there's so many margins of error that are coming up that it's just adding and adding and adding. It's like trying to make the Powerpuff Girls, except you put too much Professor, Chemical X in there, and you just get this disaster. It's just like I do see a great game. I do see what the game is. Like I don't know how to explain it, but the best way I could put it is there's parts of the game when I'm playing it and I get into like a cutscene or a conversation with an NPC and they're talking about the lore or the world, for example, getting like when you get the tutorial for your cybernetics and stuff like that, like them talking about it and breaking down the lore, that's interesting. I'm now immersed. This is really cool and it's unique. But then you go back to the game and then you're like, ugh, here we go again. So it's like there's great things in it. it's like, I don't know, buying a frozen pizza.
Oh, damn. You say a frozen pizza?
It's like buying a frozen pizza.
Oh no, like a frozen pizza and you put it in the microwave and
Exactly.
some parts are ready to go, but a lot of the middle portion isn't. What is it with you and the analogies tonight? They're on
I
point,
don't know,
Gabe. There you
man. I
go.
don't know, man. I'm just very passionate about all this, but that's the way it feels. Like, will this game be great next year? Yeah, but here we are having this discussion next year when the game's already out.
Yeah.
And another thing is that, like, the box art and like the information on the back of the box art, I don't know if you know this, but there's a lot of copies out there that the data size or the specs on it aren't the same as what they announced before, and that's because they got changed after the going gold. So that just goes to show like how
Ooh.
unprepared they were, because what was it, the day one patch, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
there's the update on the day
Mm-hmm.
one. Those were considered two separate things.
Mm-hmm.
They might as well just call it the day one patch.
Right.
The box copies that were all sent out didn't have that update, and that's because majority of these copies were already made during when they
Yeah.
quote unquote went gold.
Right.
So a lot of stuff was already manufactured and already being sent out and ready. It just shows like how much it wasn't really prepared, and a lot of it honestly just comes down to management.
Yes.
Management. Like, the devs don't really have anything to say or do. They're just making the game. They're just trying to get the best product they can with the time they're given. They can't be, the art director can't be like, no, this game's not going to come out. Like, he doesn't have any say in it. Like, the people who are working on the project don't really have much to say in it when it comes in. Was it Warner Brothers is I think the publisher, right? No.
Yes, Warner Brothers is publishing the game, which I think
Yeah.
they might have had a lot of say too in
Yeah.
pushing this game out, because WB Games don't really be putting out a lot of games like that, so they need some hits.
Yeah. So there's definitely a lot of money, and when it comes down to the end of the day, it's all money and mismanagement. Like, I have no doubt in my mind that Project's gonna fix the game. Like,
Yes.
it's gonna
If there's
be.
going to be any company out there who will stand by their word and fix it, it's CD Projekt Red.
Yeah, absolutely. The content, everything that they've promised, it will be eventually released. But the problem is they gave you a product that you could purchase,
Mhm.
but that eventually isn't there yet. It's like almost like we bought an early access title off of Steam,
That's
and
the analogy I was cuz I explained this to my sister, cuz my sister she's into video games but not the same as us. So when she hears about for her to hear about the Cyberpunk discourse means that it transcended to, the mass audiences. And
Mhm.
like with that explaining it, I basically told her there was this movement that started a few years ago called Steam. I think it was called Steam Green Light or something, or
It was
basically
green light.
Steam
Yeah.
Greenlight Early Access, where developers can release basically concept test versions of their games. They're not ready for prime time. Everybody knows that, but people have an opportunity to check this game out, see what it is. And it works great in that respect, because from there you have a lot of people who will donate money to see the completion of this game based off what they've played. But then it got to a bad point where we started seeing a lot of studios charging for those experiences. Now, they weren't charging full price. It was usually like $9.99, sometimes going up to $29.99, but still reasonable, bunny ears
Right.
quotation in the grand scheme of things. But what we've seen now with all these games as a service, and now Cyberpunk launching in the case where you can buy this game, but you're basically playing a beta of it. This is a pre-alpha for a game that we've been waiting almost a decade for. And I think that's a perfect segue into addressing some of the comments regarding a lot of the takes we've seen in the release of Cyberpunk to now, of a lot of people saying that this isn't really a big deal. A lot of people are overreacting. Now, I will say this much because I do want to address this. Are there a lot of people jumping on the CD Projekt Red hate bandwagon? Absolutely. That happens
Yes.
with everything. Like when The Last Jedi came out, there were a lot of people who weren't even into Star Wars who were saying, yeah, fuck The Last Jedi. You ever seen any of them? No. Like, yeah, like that type of stuff. It's bound to happen. It's just the nature of the business. Like when Meek Mill went up against Drake in the feuds, like people weren't
Ah, man.
really people weren't in that shit. They was just dumping on Meek. You know what I'm saying? So of course that's gonna happen with CD Projekt Red and Cyberpunk. You're gonna get a lot of people out there who don't even care about the game but are against companies taking the piss on consumers. Of course they're going to jump in. However, and I cannot stress this harder than I am right now, do not try to downplay this situation. Do not, because that is going to set a dangerous precedent in the industry. This isn't just a random no-name studio that gets a video done on Jim Sterling's end of the year list of the worst things in gaming. This is not that, you guys. This is CD Projekt Red. CD Projekt Red, the studio that everyone has held to such high regards for the past 6 years. CD Projekt Red, who has vocally come out on numerous occasions saying, we are not like any other studio. We will leave the greed up to those other companies. They've said this. There are tweets on Twitter. I've tweeted it. This is CD Projekt Red who said, we will release this game when it is ready. This is CD Projekt Red. And I have to keep stressing this out because there's some people damage controlling in the comments section. This is their words. This isn't the fanboys trying to say something. This is their words. They said all of these things. And for them to maliciously and intentionally hold back console reviews, for them to maliciously and intentionally hold back gameplay, for them to go over here and have their little yellow chair defense force hype up the game behind the scenes, and then they say, well, you can't use any of your footage in the review, only approved B-roll. Like, a lot of people just, they think that this is somehow okay, but I guarantee you, if EA, Ubisoft, Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, any of these other companies did that same shit, y'all would have all this energy saying they're anti-consumer, blah, 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 but because it's CD Projekt Red and they created the only game y'all have ever played, The Witcher 3, because I just call it like it is, you know what I'm saying? Most of these people ain't played The Witcher 2 or 1. They think it's okay, and this is not okay, because if you give them a pass, even if they say, listen, we're going to rebuild gamers' trust, how do you rebuild gamers' trust when you lied to gamers and launched a game that millions of people on consoles and even PCs are struggling to play? How do you gain back our trust?
It's not something that you gain back instantly, and it's not something that's going to be garnished over the next month to even next year. But it's insane that, you know, this is the same company that was so confident in their product. I don't know how well you guys know of Project's background and history, but their company was built upon piracy because certain programs and stuff were not available in their country, and they had this unique method of getting all these programs and stuff, that they are so confident in their product that when The Witcher 3 came out, they said that if you wanted to pirate their game, which, by the way, there's no DRM, so they couldn't stop you either way if someone uploaded, but they straight up said that if you wanted to pirate our game, one, we're not going to come after you legally, and if anything is put up by either, you know, the publishers or any outside source that has to do with, you know, our game, and they try to sue you, we'll shut that down and we'll let you enjoy the game. And if you're that confident in enjoying our product, we're confident that you'll buy the game. They've legit said that when The Witcher 3 came out. And you know what? They're not wrong, because you know what? I was one of the people that did pirate Witcher 3. Ooh. Yes, I pirated Witcher 3 the first day it came out because I wasn't too sure about it, because I played The Witcher 1 and The Witcher 2, and I wasn't too sure if a game could get better than The Witcher 2, because I enjoyed Assassin's Kings a lot. Hell yeah. And I wasn't too sure if it was going to be as good, especially with all the delays, because if you guys followed Witcher 3 from the start to finish of development, it was another game that suffered from a lot of delays.
Yep.
So me being, you know, cautious, I wasn't too sure, and me at the time being, you know, broke teenager, didn't really want to spend $60 yet. Mm-hmm. So I pirated it, and I played, and that day I played that game probably for 12 hours straight, bought it the next day. So that's just to show like this is the company we're talking about. You know, if you were to do any of that stuff with anybody else, they would be coming down to you with a hammer and the wrath of five lawyers, you know?
Yeah, like it's like that whole back and forth how Insomniac, I love the juxtaposition. You have Insomniac Games who loves the idea of their fans, doing like fan games, fan art, things like that, and they promote it on their Twitter as this is so dope. And then you have Nintendo and they're just like, we'll see you in court.
Yeah.
Like straight up. But there is one thing I
Wow,
did
that's
want to
a great
mention.
Unreal Engine 4 model you made of Mario. We'll see you in court tomorrow, buddy.
That's basically how it is. But yeah, CD Projekt Red, and I always loved their approach to piracy because, like, let's just be real about life for a second. Should people pirate stuff? No, they shouldn't. That's just the period point
Gabe
blank
was
answer.
bad. Don't
Right.
do what Gabe did.
Exactly. Now, there are moral gray areas based off region restrictions, and if it's even sold in your area, maybe some things are even out of print. Of course, if something's out of print, you got to pirate it. But that being said, if it's a modern game and it's available in your area, you shouldn't pirate it. But with CD Projekt Red, instead of doing all this draconian DRM, they said, we'll leave it up to the consumers because people are going to pirate anyways. You know what I'm saying? DRM only hurts legal buyers of the game. It doesn't hurt the people who are going to pirate it anyway. That's going to give them more incentive. But here's the thing I want to mention about The Witcher 3. Because I played The Witcher 3. I got it on PC. And
oh, you played The Witcher 3?
4 times. and people always ask me, Neil, why do you never finish your games? Because I start up Witcher 3 playthroughs. That's what I do. I love that story, man. I do. But here's the thing about The Witcher 3. Yes, on consoles and on PC at the time, it did launch with issues. That is true. But people have got to stop comparing this to Cyberpunk. The Witcher 3 was at least playable for people. Yes. And it ran. It might not have run the best.
Playable.
It was playable. Cyberpunk does not run. It's not playable. Like, the things that are in that game is just astronomical. So people got to, like, stop doing the straw man to try to defend CD Projekt Red. This is bad. This is bad. This is a terrible, terrible launch. And it's done so much irreparable damage to their credit, which is just, like, I have never seen a studio that, let's just call it like it is. They released one huge game. I've never seen a studio rise to the ranks of CD Projekt Red in such a short amount of time, to the point where they're valued at over $6 billion, something like that, something crazy.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to fact check that real quick. But yeah, they that game put them on the map. It got them into the discussion of best Western studios. It got them into the discussion.
Second largest game company in Europe.
Wow. And we're supposed to change our way of thinking to adhere for their fuck ups. Like, why is it that this company fucked up and we have to warp our reality into saying that this is okay? You paid money for this game. That's like going to a restaurant. And I'm gonna go off on my rant right now. That's like going to a restaurant, right? You pay $75 for a meal. Let's just say you're at a fancy place, right? $75 for a meal. And that food, first off, it takes too long to come out. And when it comes out, some parts are undercooked, other parts are burnt. So y'all over here in the comments section who are defending CD Projekt Red, that's okay to you. That's okay to you. Right? Right? That's exactly what the situation is. And don't say, oh, well, it's food, it's different. No, you spent $65, $70 on this game, and this game is not going to be finished for an entire year and a half, maybe 2. Like, come on now. You are
telling me that if you hate mayo and you get mayo on your burger, you're not turning your burger back?
Well, you could just like wipe it off, they say, even though it's still gonna be on the burger. Like, bro, and here's another thing, and this is the last point I want to address on it. A lot of people are saying, well, what did you expect if it's launching on old hardware? The game was being made for old hardware for the past 6 years. If it is being sold on a platform, it better run on that platform. That is your job as a developer, and you do not have to be a developer to know that. And this game, you can't say that, well, they were probably trying to make it too ambitious and they wanted the next gen consoles. No, it's not. Why is every other studio out there putting out games, they don't run like this? Like, I don't see how people can't understand this. Like, this is very simple. This is like The Circle block goes in the circle hole. Y'all over here trying to put triangles and squares in the circle hole and saying that, oh, like, oh my God. I just Gabe, take over. I need to relax.
It's the epitome of the guy riding the bicycle and shoving the stick into the wheel and be like, ah. Like the game was announced in 2012 with the CG trailer, and at that time, 2012, if you put into perspective, what year did PS4 and the 1 come out? 2013.
Yeah.
The game was announced 2012. So they were all either just started on the end of that generation's dev kits, or they already had the new dev kits and were already working on that generation for the 4 and the 1. So they've had 8 years to
at least understand the architecture of these consoles. And they also, like, okay, I'm actually realistic when it comes to that, because a lot of people say, stop throwing around the 7-year thing! And I'm like, all right, fine. Let's just say they started active development of Cyberpunk after the Witcher 3 DLC. You know what? I'll be nice and say they started early 2016. Let's be fair. That's still 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020. All of 2020. So that's 5 years. And you're telling me at last minute they just realized this can't run on the PS4. By you defending that, that's basically you saying that they're retarded. That's what you are saying. That they just didn't know.
No.
I can't.
And some people get into their feelings with this. They really do. I mean, as we are, but some people get into their feelings about, oh, but I only have a PS4 and an Xbox. If they canceled it, I won't be able to play it. You're not able to play it right now. So,
it's like, all right, if you thought that the game was too ambitious to put out on the systems, that is your job as a developer to make the conscious effort. Like, okay, perfect example. Gabe, you remember Mortal Kombat X?
Yes.
Mortal Kombat X was originally going to be a cross-gen game until NetherRealm Studios announced, I think a year and a half before it was supposed to come out, that, hey, listen, we have to cancel the PS3 360 versions because, them shits don't run. And a lot of people, there was a little bit of backlash because they're like, oh, they're just, and I hate this narrative. I'm sure you hate this too, Gabe, but they're like, well, they're just trying to push the next-gen consoles on us. I'm like, oh my God.
It has nothing to do with that. It's about a product that's not working. You can't. The thing is that I think right now, yes, the 5 and the Series X is really hard to get. Yes. We can all agree on that. But the majority of crying for a product that isn't going to work, there's honestly there's no point to the 4 or the 1 version. It should have been canned. It should have been delayed longer and take full advantage of what the 5 and the X has to offer hardware-wise. And you probably would have had one of like the craziest, I wouldn't say launch titles, but the crazy, 1-year release titles for the new hardware to take advantage of it. I mean, at least within, compared to any of the other generations, you would have had just an insane, product. And instead we get something that's half-ass based on old hardware and half-ass based on new hardware. I was expecting something Red Dead 2.
That's another example, because everybody likes to say, don't compare Cyberpunk to games like God of War, Last of Us. Okay, I understand that because those are more linear, closed-off experiences. Right. I understand that, yes. But Red Dead Redemption 2 is not that. Red Dead Redemption 2 is one of the most beautiful, graphically intensive games ever to be put out. And yes, it is not as dense as Cyberpunk, but are you trying to sit here and tell me that you can't get something that's at least comparable to that? No, I'm not buying it. Some of y'all here in the comment sections, y'all just, I don't know, you eat CD Projekt Red dick. I don't know what, but this is ridiculous at this point, bro. Like, it's not the consumer's fault. How is it the consumer's fault? Oh, consumers didn't do research. You motherfuckers are retarded at this point.
Absolutely.
If this game is on the Switch, this game is on the Switch. It is sold on the Switch. Are you telling me it's my fault that the game doesn't run? You niggas are retarded. I'm sorry. I swear to God.
People want, and speaking of that, people do want Cyberpunk on the Switch. People been asking, well, when's Cyberpunk coming on the Switch? When's Cyberpunk coming on the Switch?
Oh my God.
And while we're on that subject, I can't stand. See, I play on PC primarily. I have a PS5 and I have a PC. I cannot stand the PC gamers right now that are going on Twitter, going on these forums, people who are legit having issues with their game. And they're like, well, I don't have any issues with my game. With my 16 gig computer that I built last year running on the new 2070, NVIDIA card with full on RX and ray tracing, I'm getting great frames. Great, buddy. You have a piece of hardware that's not even a year old. Well, technically now it's a year old, but you have a device that was made within the last year. The majority of the population does not. And yes, I am in that population who owns newer hardware, but I'm not, shitting on everybody's parade who can't play it, because there's a lot of people who fucking can't. And those people are like everywhere on Twitter, everywhere.
Oh,
That's
God.
weird. You're having issues. I'm not having issues. I got 64 gigs of RAM and a 12 gig graphics card.
I hate that shit, because it's like, people say, well, you shouldn't play it on the base hardware. Play it on the PS5 and Xbox Series X. Yeah, I'm sure that you can just walk into the store and buy those. Oh, I want to go buy that 3080 right now because I totally can, because it's on every single shelf. It's like those people. You remember? All right. So you remember when fiber optic was getting big?
Yeah.
And people were complaining about their ISPs, and then somebody says, well, I don't have any problem with this. Maybe you should just move to a place that has better internet. Like, do y'all listen before you hit tweet? Like, do y'all fucking listen to yourselves? This is not okay, and you are not on the seat. Listen. None of y'all are getting paid by CD Projekt Red to damage control for this game that millions cannot play. I hope you understand that. Like, my God.
It's the equivalent of someone who's like is very ill and sick, like, for example, cancer, and someone just says, well, why don't you get rid of cancer?
Oh, God.
Why don't I just get rid of cancer? Would have done that if I thought about that the first time, huh?
Yeah, right. Just
weird.
like, or it's
why don't you play on a PS5?
No. These are the same weirdos who just say, someone says, I suffer from depression. Well, stop being depressed. Oh,
just be happy.
Just be happy. My depression is cured, guys. Like stop being poor. Exactly. I can't with these people, bro. I cannot with these people. I know people are in the comments like, oh, I've never seen this side of Neo. Well, this is what they do to me, bro. Like, it's like literally somebody comes out here and says, this game is broken. Someone says, no, I disagree. It's like, my game crashed 10 times in a day, but it's not broken.
Well, mine didn't. So this game's pretty great.
Someone said, you suffer from insomnia? Just go to sleep, bro. I can't. It's like, all right. But you know what? I think we've said all we got to say about CD Projekt Red in the stands, or as some people are calling them, CD Projekt Red, the little season.
See, I did not.
Gaming.
I didn't realize 2077 was the number of bugs in the game. That's all I gotta say.
And I didn't realize that 2077 is the year when this game is actually gonna be playable. Oh, snap.
You'll have a PS5 by then.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, snap. And we got the homie Charlie S coming through with the $2.99 super chat. Appreciate that, brother. He says, I'm hitting 60 FPS on my Xbox One VR. I don't know if that's the VCR or what.
VCR.
Yeah, I don't know if he said VR. I'm not sure. But yeah, appreciate that, Charlie. Thank you so much. And also for people who do want their questions read on the air, Super Chat is the best way for us to get to it, because we do like to focus on the topics and then we focus on the comments from those topics. But yeah, do you have any final comments to say about this whole situation, Gabe, before we move on to the Game Awards?
No, I just like that last comment that just says, bro, just wait for the 10-year remaster on the PS6.
That shit might be fire. We'll get a 240 frame per second mode. There we go. Oh,
That's all I got.
Alrighty. Okay, but now moving into the next topic, and this one's not going to be as rage-inducing. So,
Maybe for some. But...
yeah. Considering what one of them was, yeah. The Game Awards 2020, you guys. Yes, everyone's favorite show of the year. I don't know. I mean, to be honest, Gabe, I'm just going to say my piece on all these game shows, whether it's this, they have like the BAFTAs for games. They have a lot of other things. Oh, and the homie, Amazing JD Jason came through with the $2 super chat. Yo, Gabe, motivate me to play and beat The Witcher 3. Yeah, so we haven't dived into this topic yet. So, Gabe, if you can just give anybody a reason to play The Witcher 3 outside of saying that I have 4 copies, go ahead. Answer Jason's question before we dive in.
As I stated before, I pirated the game. Gabe did it bad. Gabe liked the game that he pirated, went and bought the game the next day.
And there you have it. But if you had to give, outside of that reason, if you had to give a reason why somebody should play The Witcher 3 in terms of like any type of recommendation, why would you recommend that? Yeah.
Honestly, it's, especially now, it's the most polished. It's very long. He's like generic things. It's polished and long.
Hey, wait, what are we talking about? What are we talking about tonight, Gabe? I know this is the sweaty cats, but I'm gonna need you to relax, bro. I'm gonna need you to relax.
Honestly, in the last pause.
Yo, pause for that. Everybody hit pause in the chat for Gabe, because that was just, he said polished and long.
What's the sus count at? What's the sus count out for the night?
The sus count is Neo 1, Gabe 69. Nice.
Yeah. Honestly, in the last 5 years, out of most open world RPGs, including Ubisoft and, the games that are, quite frequently released every year, there's always that open world game. Out of all the titles, Witcher 3 has a lot to offer, whether you're casual, hardcore, or even just never played any of the games before. It's a great, introduction to the series. There's so many different linear endings to the game that honestly, the game is really built for you. It's really, you get the ending that you chose. That's the best way to explain it. The options you selected in that game, because there's 40 different endings. So
it's crazy amount.
It's an insane amount. So honestly, if you want a game that's a story for just you, go play The Witcher, man. Play it on easy, play it on hard, play it on whatever difficulty you want. Just go out there and just play it, man, and play the DLCs too. You can play that's another thing. The DLCs are outside the story, man. So I'm sure everyone's got the Game of the Year edition at this point. If the main story ain't sounding great for you, go play the DLCs. They have nothing to do with the main story, and they're just as good, and they're like 30 to 40 hours, just as long as well. So if that's not enough to get you to want to play the game, man, then stick with Cyberpunk and hit your head against a brick wall.
Okay. I know it's not my question, but can I say at least one thing?
Yeah.
Okay. The first DLC for The Witcher 3 has one of the best villains in all of gaming. I'll just say that much.
Yes. It's so good. Like if the Witcher 3 story didn't motivate you at all, you can just skip to the DLC, and it does not affect or change the game. Like, you don't need to know the Witcher 3 story to play it. Like that, just go play that DLC.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm getting like memories of flashbacks now, and I'm just like, fuck the Witcher 3 story. Go play that DLC.
Yo, I'm telling you, yeah. But appreciate that super chat. Jason, thank you so much. I will send that Gabe's way. But yeah, now diving into the next topic, we're going to be talking about the Game Awards. Now, as I was saying, when it comes down to these game shows, like Game Awards, End of the Year Awards that all these big sites do, I do not hold much personal stock in them because, like with movies and with TV shows and any other things, the awards, they're at the end of the day, they're just a circle jerk of what's the thing that we all ended up liking the most. And that's not a bad thing at all. For some situations, that can be good because it can highlight particular movies that a lot of people didn't see or games that maybe fell under the radar. Like there's a place for these type of awards. But at the end of the day, what a lot of people have to realize is these are just opinions of regular people like you or I, and that's how you should treat them. So whether or not your favorite game won X award or not, whether you think it was snubbed, that should not change your personal opinion and your enjoyment of said game. And I need to stress this out because we are going to be talking about TLOUP2. And
Which,
I know
there will be spoilers once we start getting into the discussion of the game.
There will be spoilers on that because it's been almost the game came out in June. So
June?
It's been 6 months at this point. Yeah.
6 months, yeah.
Yeah, y'all if
No,
y'all
the story trailer they released for the Game Awards had like massive spoilers in it.
Right. Yeah. So we will be talking about that as one of the topics. But just overall, I'll give my quick thoughts on what I thought of the show. I thought that this was the best show that Jeff Keighley has put together to date. I think that in terms of the flow of the show, how it just went from one announcement to the next announcement to the next announcement, it reminded me a lot of the recent E3 conferences that we've seen from Sony and Microsoft, where instead of them like showing a trailer, then getting up on stage to talk about what we just saw, bro, have y'all ever gone back and watched
And that
those?
right there, Skyrim.
Yo, have y'all ever gone back? Trust me. Go back and rewatch some of the older E3 conferences from like 2013 and before, and just look at how fucking boring those shits were. Because they literally, I'll never forget this shit. They got on there. Yo, you want to talk about circle jerking? Every single Sony E3 conference was them talking about sales. Like sales.
The
The
PS4 was the highest selling console of 2014. And today we're here to power you with new hardware to show you why the 4 is the best console alive.
Yo, like straight up, like those conferences was boring as fuck, right? Like straight up. But the one thing I like is in E3 2016, that's when Sony started it. They only had maybe one or two people go on stage at a time, and then it was just like game. And Microsoft did the same thing, game. Which is what they did with this showcase. Now, it wasn't perfect. There was definitely while the structure and the pacing, like the flow was great, there was just too. I think Jeff Keighley, because he just wants to be everybody's friends, right? He wants to be everybody's friend. So he's like, hey, you want to have your thing featured in the Game Awards? You can do that. And I just think that they showed, as weird as it sounds, they showed way too many game reveals that it kind of took away from what really dictated a world premiere. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So while there was some cool stuff, I think a lot of the show, I think it could have been trimmed down by, instead of being 3 hours.
COVID had anything to do with it?
I don't necessarily think so. I think that, like, for the announcements that they were going to show, they were good. But I think they just showed way too much just for the sake of not, you might be right. You might be right, Gabe, because normally they would have like separate segments in between.
Yeah.
So
that's what I felt like I was missing when I was watching it. I mean, at the time, it wasn't really clicking, but just because of how fast it was going. But I felt like COVID might have had a play in it.
Yeah, so it was definitely better. Like he's got the rhythm and the flow. He just needs to work on the timing of things, and just in general how some awards are handed out in less than 5 seconds or less. Like I didn't even know when we were doing the stream and counting up the awards, somebody told me that Last of Us is dominating, and I said, how? Last of Us only won like 2 awards, and he's like, nah, bro, it won like 3 other awards, and I said, really? And I went on the replay, and I was like, I didn't even see that. What? Because unless it was a big award that they had the actor, the developer come on here, like standing in the back of the window or some shit, I didn't know. It would literally just be like Jeff Keighley, he's got his phone, he's like, and here's the nominees for this award right here, and the winner is, all right, on to the next award. I was like, wait, hold on.
He's like swiping on Tinder.
Yeah, straight up like, yeah, you good. Man, fuck it, give Last of Us that award. There we go. Here we have the Game Awards, baby. But yeah, what did you think of like just the overall show itself, Gabe?
I thought it was pretty good. Honestly, you basically said what I was thinking the entire time. I did feel like it was a little off here and there. It just went smooth but fast at the same time. Oh, here we go, sus again.
But I don't think that's really sus per se. Because I mean,
all right, I'm getting a freebie here.
There you go, you get a freebie. No, hey, don't hit pause in the comments, you guys. Don't hit pause. He gets a freebie for this one.
I liked it a lot. Like, I watched it on Twitch.
Yeah.
And it was pretty good. I mean, honestly, I was expecting something a lot different only because of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, but because usually it's a whole stage and performance thing. It's a whole actual game show.
Yeah.
And you could tell it kind of looked like like an IGN like review video, kind of
Yeah.
like when they talk about game news and stuff. They got all the stuff going on in the background, and they're just piling through the content. They're just bulldozing through. This subject, this subject, this subject. Here's a gameplay trailer. Here's an announcement. Here's Christopher Nolan. Here you go. Go,
Yo,
go, go,
that
go,
was.
go.
Oh God.
He was coming on to let you guys know that you're wrong about your audio.
Yo, I half expected Christopher Nolan to throw shots at WB and HBO Max. I thought he was gonna go there with that one.
Same here, man. Like the timing of it just happened too perfect that I was like, oh man, is he gonna like announce some sort of like service that he's providing or something?
The Christopher Nolan experience. With every PlayStation 5 you buy, you get a copy of Tenet that's audio fixed. PS5 exclusive, guys. Oh God. But yeah, so I mean, overall, yeah, the show it was decent for what it was. In terms of the announcements, this show actually had a couple of decent ones. So let's just open up with, I think, the biggest one that nobody saw coming, bro. Sephiroth in Smash Bros. Yo.
Yes.
First off, I didn't know. I always thought that they'd leave the Smash reveal for the end because that's what they did for Joker in 2018, and that was a big reveal that had people like, wait, what? The Game Awards? And then they tuned in, but they opened the show with Sephiroth and Smash Bros. Like, bro, everyone, we've all done our predictions. We've all done what characters we want to see in Smash Bros. But I don't think anybody except one person on Twitter, and I think y'all might be following this person, Storm Yorha, I believe, right? On Twitter, they had a drawing of characters that they wanted Smash. And so far, I think 3 out of the 5 characters in that drawing have come to fruition. So Sephiroth in Smash Bros. I didn't even know, like, until that music hit, I was like in disbelief, bro. The second that hit, I was like, no, they are not.
The second that note, just the dun, like it didn't have to go any further than that.
Yo, it was amazing. And that trailer, one of the best Smash trailers. I love how they animated it similar to Advent Children, but actually good.
Actually good. This man said actually good.
Yeah, but I think Sephiroth in Smash Bros., even though people are going to complain about it being another sword character, I think that's an amazing inclusion, because for those who don't follow Smash Bros. Like that, Cloud's inclusion in Smash Bros., even though it's great, it is one of the most bare bones inclusions for a character. I think he only has two tracks. Is that if that's it? Yeah. So everybody else has had like multiple tracks and they go all out. I think it's so funny because Joker from Persona, I believe, had way more stuff to him added to Persona as opposed to that. But again, it's different companies, and how like Square is very protective of their IP and what they would license out, even though they'll have Ariana Grande promote a Final Fantasy game, which is so weird.
Wasn't it mobile?
Yeah.
Did they make her a mobile character in the Final Fantasy universe?
I believe so, because there was a meme going around.
I mean, I guiltily played this game. Just saying, just putting it out there. I played Braveheart. But I remember they made her like a singing, like damage dealing type character. But yeah, they done weird things like that.
Right, and there was the meme that said these 4 characters have canonically fought Sephiroth, and it was Cloud, Mario, somebody else, and then Ariana Grande, and I was screaming, bro. That shit was funny as hell.
That's so good.
Right. So I thought that announcement was great. The character, I believe he comes out not too long after now, right?
Yeah, it comes out this month. I think it's like within the week, like within like to next week, I think.
Yeah, I knew it was very close because it said December. Yeah, it said December. So, yeah.
Let me see, release date 17th. That's what it was. Yeah, so it's this week. It's tomorrow.
Nice. There we go. So y'all be able to enjoy Sephiroth, and I know the salt is going to be very good. He's going to probably be called to be banned soon enough. So
this character is busting.
Straight up. Oh, and they have a whole presentation breakdown happening tomorrow, according to Dark Mando. So that's gonna be cool. In terms of other announcements, I guess the second biggest announcement from the show is going to be the Perfect Dark reveal.
The much speculated. Me and you were talking about that on when we did the Xbox video. When
Yeah.
we were going on about like, hey, what are they going to be? And we discussed Fable and Perfect Dark, and we didn't get a Perfect Dark, but I mean now we
Yeah.
have.
So for those who are unfamiliar, the initiative's long-awaited project that I feel has been the worst kept secret in the entire industry is Perfect Dark. They're doing a complete revival of that franchise, which is very exciting. I mean, just looking at the optics of Xbox going forward. Everyone's excited for all the studios they've acquired and the games that they're working on, whether it's inorganically or organically. But one thing that a lot of gamers have wanted Microsoft to do for the longest time is bring back a lot of their older franchises, because while a lot of them weren't the best games per se, I feel like if they got a second wind, we can truly see some great experiences. And Perfect Dark
Absolutely.
was one of those franchises that people have always said, okay, you got to bring this back, give it to one of your studios, let them work on it, and we're finally getting that. Unfortunately, it is still very early in development, so they had no gameplay to show, which leads me to believe that optimistically, we're getting this game
3 years.
3 years, 2020, 2023.
Yeah.
That's optimistic. I think it's 2023. Realistically, given we don't know what's going to happen, it might be a late 2023 game. I would love it to come out sooner, you guys, but just based off Xbox this whole past generation, a lot of their games, with the exception of like Gears of War, Forza, and maybe smaller titles that they've worked with other studios, a lot of them have launched half-baked. So, and I think going forward, they can't
That's being
afford
very
that.
kind, Chris.
I know. I'm trying to be very kind, toe the line, but it's true. A lot of them have been launching half-baked, and I think that's something that, as Xbox gamers, they have to accept that Microsoft's first-party offering this generation was very, very sparse. And going forward, while it does look optimistic, they need to make sure that these games are right. And that doesn't just come with development time, like, oh, give it 3 years, it'll be good. It's got to come down to the management and the leadership. So I can't, as excited as I am for a new Perfect Dark, I can't get excited until I see actual tangible gameplay. And we don't know how long that will be. But what about you, Gabe? What'd you think about this?
I'm pretty excited. I mean, same boat. I mean, I tend to overhype things, as you know, especially when it gets announced. Like, and I think it's just because the image or idea I get in my head is much bigger than what I'm seeing on the just a cinematic screen. Like if it's just a CGI trailer or a live action trailer, which rarely get those. But if it's just a trailer, just to promote the game, I usually have a much, bigger anticipation of what the product actually is. So I've been trying to, reel down my expectations a lot when it comes to a lot of these CGI, trailers and, short announcements. But I can't say I'm pretty excited. I don't know what it's going to be. I don't know what it's going to be like at all. I do think it's, like Chris said, it's going to be very far out. I mean, I already was, when I saw the trailer, I said 3 years. Like that was 3 years minimum, it probably longer, but 3 years. Hopefully it's, I don't know, maybe like a Splinter Cell style game, but more action based. I don't know, because that's what it seemed like when they went for with what was that one on the Xbox arcade called? It was Perfect Dark.
Oh, you mean the one on 360?
Yeah,
I didn't like that one. I can't even remember that name.
Yeah.
Perfect Dark, was it Perfect Dark Zero? I don't even remember that
Zero.
shit, bro.
Yeah, it was Zero. Yeah, it was Perfect Dark Zero. Like that felt like they were trying to go for this I don't even know how to explain that game.
I don't know. That game,
so,
I feel like that game
so off.
that game
so
aged worse. It aged worse than the N64 one, which is so fucking weird to think about.
It was definitely out. There was even like an Area 51 level in that game.
Oh my god, yeah, that was the weirdest game I ever rented, bro. I was like, what is this? The early sixth generation console games, they were something else, man. I'll say that much.
They were definitely breed apart. I mean,
yeah. That's true.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for Perfect Dark. I can't wait for them to give us a little more details and to kind of give us an idea of what it's going to be about. If anything, I'm hoping it's going for a James Bond style theme of game, even though we're getting a 007 game. So that may be off the board there. But either way, 2023. Can't wait.
I legit forgot they were putting out a James Bond game. Wait, I was excited about that. Who's working on that? Is IO working on that?
Because they only did like what, like a little 30-second teaser.
Yeah,
And
I think it was IO Interactive. I think the guys who did the recent Hitman games. I think.
yeah, it is.
Oh, okay.
It is.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
So
yeah, that's probably gonna be good.
nice. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, guys, temper your expectations. This game is like I'm saying this very, 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 very optimistically. End of 2022. Realistically, this is 2023, maybe mid to end. It's just the nature of the beast in the business right now. So don't hold your like expectations high. Like, yeah, Xbox is going to kill it. First off, we don't even know if this game is even, because what if they try to release this game episodically, like multiple parts, like they did for the first season of Hitman? I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want this to be episodic. I don't. Just give me the full narrative experience, which based off what Phil Spencer's been saying, it seems like it. But then again, Phil Spencer wears 4 watches, so I don't think we can trust this man. I mean, Phil, you cool with me, bro, but why do you wear 4 watches? Come on now.
It's all the different time zones.
Yeah, different time zones, but none of them have Xbox games. What's going on, bro?
Speaking of that, did you ever play or ever heard of the Perfect Dark game for the Game Boy Color?
I saw a video somebody made years ago talking about it. Like, what the hell is this? Like,
I actually had that as a kid.
Jesus.
It was so weird.
How do you even play Perfect Dark on a Game Boy? Was it first person? Was it third person? Was it side
was like
scroller?
it was above. It was like a side scroller. So it was like
God.
above. Like, think of Legacy of Goku, but
Oh my God.
not as good. Not even close. But it's above and it's janky. And it was like a counterpart to I believe the Nintendo 64 version. I don't know. Again,
it was like a companion game. Okay.
Yeah, like I was talking about earlier. Like when they used to make that one game, but for every single platform, but there were like 5 different versions of the game.
God. Could you imagine if you just someone says, "Oh, can I get Perfect Dark for Christmas?" and then they open up and they get that? Christmas is ruined. Oh my God, that brings
Santa Claus ain't real then, fam.
It ain't at all. But yeah, so Perfect Dark. Looking forward to that whenever we see gameplay. That's when I'll get excited.
Yeah,
now moving into something, speaking of gameplay, something that I think took us all by surprise. Nobody was expecting. Back for Blood. Now, Gabe, we gonna go hard on this one, bro. So first things first, the second they showed that trailer, it said Turtle Rock, and I start to see that gameplay. I was like, this is Left 4 Dead 3 spiritual successor. I just knew it. It is. And that's what we got, Back for Blood. But not only that, but they showed us that alpha gameplay, which again,
they gave us the meat and cheese and potatoes and the
bacon, the sour cream, the chives, all that stuff. And mind you, it was alpha gameplay. I saw some people in the stream comments saying, "Oh, this game doesn't look that great." Blah blah blah, bro. It's alpha footage. Like, y'all, I would rather a developer show me alpha footage of what the game is rather than a CGI trailer that's not even indicative of what we're going to see. Like, State of Decay 3, that CGI trailer is not going to look like that. Like, come on. Like, come here. Like, I look at that shit, I was like, you liars. Like, come on, man. But yo, Back for Blood.
It's hunting potting. That's hunting potting.
Straight up, man. And I know some people are like, why are you picking on Xbox like that? I'm not picking on Xbox because it's Xbox. I'm picking on Xbox because in that summer showcase, we saw nothing but fucking CGI trailers. And it's like, we want gameplay. Like,
I was more optimistic on the fact that these games exist.
Yeah.
Because I just wanted, me personally, because hey, I was one of the early founders of the VCR player. Okay, I had the VCR player year one.
You said the chat. Yo, you got to let some people know they don't know what you talk about when you say VCR
the
player.
the Xbox One, the original thick Xbox One,
the thick boy.
The thick boy. I was one of the original early adopters of that system, and the lack of titles and changes was very disappointing. So for me, at least, spiritually, I don't own the current Xbox, but spiritually, seeing that all these titles that were announced when I didn't hear a goddamn thing besides Sunset Overdrive, great game.
Great fucking game.
Great game. cried inside. It was just like, it's over. It's like finally, it was like Frodo.
Frodo,
And
I was about
throwing
to
the
say
ring in the fire.
Frodo.
And I was just like, it's finally here. It's finally like it was seeing the elf ship come through the sunlight and taking me off to cure me of my Morgul blade stab. Like that's what it felt like. But still optimistic. Want to see gameplay. Just happy to know that there's something cooking in the pot.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Back for Blood.
Uh-huh.
Very, very, very excited. And Chris, you should be even more excited.
Ooh, why should I be excited?
Because tomorrow, me and Chris get to play Back for Blood because I got invited to the alpha with a companion key. So Chris is gonna get his mittens on Back for Blood.
You're asking me this on stream? I this is unexpected. I can't prepare for this. What? So are we gonna be playing this? Are we gonna be streaming it too, Gabe?
We're gonna be streaming it. We're gonna be playing it. We're gonna find if it's a buggy piece of crap. we're gonna be full diving it. And honestly, I can't wait because I've needed something that was like Left 4 Dead with the whole system. Like I like Vermintide. I proposed the Neo.
Yeah, straight up like proposed. Will you be my zombie companion? Boomerbile here. Well, that's copyright, but something that's not Boomerbile here.
We need to cut that. We're gonna get DMCA.
Straight up, Gaben's gonna come in here saying, "What's going on here?"
He's gonna awaken from his New Zealand trip and come in like Gandalf in the second Lord of the Rings movie with the big beam of light with his beard.
So I gotta say that he's aging pretty gracefully. Like the whole thing's working for him, man.
Yeah, the whole bearded like wise man look is going pretty well for him. I mean, he's living in New Zealand, so he don't give a shit about anything going on.
He chilling, bro. He's straight. He's been chilling there for months. Man. Good
Didn't
job,
they just announce they were like COVID free recently? I can't remember.
New Zealand is very, very low, and I think Maddie Valkian24 here in the chat can provide some insight because he lives in Australia, and by proxy he just be knowing stuff about everything in that region. But I think they're very low. It's most places outside of the U.S. that got this shit under control. We as Americans, too much
smacked with the COVID bat.
Yeah, straight up. It's like, but we're not going to get into that right now. But yeah, I mean, I echo the same thing as Gabe. Left 4 Dead, next to Call of Duty Zombies, is my favorite go-to multiplayer experience. I know everybody likes their competitive 5v5, 6v6, the battle royales and all that stuff. And I get the appeal of that. I'm not knocking it at all. But for me, I thrive on co-op experiences. I think co-op experience is a lot more palpable for the general audience because you don't have to worry about the competitive scale. But then that gets into a whole different story whatsoever when it's like, do the fucking objective, take the health back. Why am I wasting my health back on you? Like, people who play Left 4 Dead 2 with randoms know what I'm talking about here.
It's pretty bad, especially if you play the versus mode where you just run against the player controlled, special infected. That shit is that you want to see a man break down. You want to see someone get destroyed. Like, play that.
Yo, I'm telling you, Left 4 Dead 2. Left 4 Dead in general, man, you play that with randoms, with mics, dude, it is just the most infuriating experience. It's fun, but it is the most infuriating experience because people they just be doing dumb shit. And when because I've been playing Left 4 Dead for over 10 years, man, and it's gotten to the point where I had to, put on, my big boy pants and do realism expert mode. Got my ass kicked. It took me a long time to actually finish a full campaign.
Big boy panties.
Yeah, and it's straight up. It's a different experience entirely, but it is so fun when you got a whole squad and y'all are all on point with it. It's a completely different game. And with Back 4 Blood, even though I don't know too much about it outside of seeing the gameplay, and of course Gabe and I will be playing the alpha tomorrow. I get this vibe that I think Turtle Rock, they knew they fucked up from Evolve. And I feel like it wasn't just Turtle Rock per se, but it was more 2K as well.
Now that was 100% 2K, man.
Yeah, I remember we had a back and forth disagreement about that game. I said, Gabe, I don't know about this game, bro. And he was just like, listen, man, I think it might be fire.
At the time, what we got in the beginning of that testing phase was, I was like, man, if this gets expanded on, we get those free maps, those free monsters. and everything else. This shit gonna be fire. Now we got. Hey, you want to play that new map? Pay us money. Hey, you want to play that new hunter? Pay us
Oh,
money.
I
Hey,
think
you
what was
want
it
that new
the
monster?
monster's
Pay
like
us
what
money.
$15 or something,
They
right?
were expensive. Yeah, they were expensive.
Yo.
And some of them were super fucking busted. And they were busted because you go out and buy them. And so it just made it, oh, look, we're hunting the same thing 30 million times.
Yeah.
Oh, look, I wish I could play that good hunter that counters that thing, but I don't have, $30 to drop on a hunter pack. That shit was just ugh. That killed Gabe inside. Gabe died on that day.
And I can understand it. The concept is great. I think the
It's
actual
amazing.
concept of Evolve is great. Asymmetric 4v1, that stuff is awesome. And I really wish I was hoping for Evolve 2.0. I was really hoping that they would pull through with that and make it that sort of game, because I think a lot of people would enjoy it. Like, that's the closest thing technically we have to a 4-player cooperative Dino Crisis, where you have this big ass monster and you have these hunters. So maybe Back for Blood, even if it's not that, if it's just Left 4 Dead 3 parentheses not, I think everyone will enjoy it. I saw a lot of stuff in that game, in that demo, that just, it looked like Left 4 Dead on crack, which
Yeah,
is awesome.
it just mirrored it. Even like the safe room, if you want to call it that, in there with the bars and like the little like graffiti lettering and little art details around that just looked very reminiscent of Left 4 Dead. You could definitely tell it's a, I don't know. I want to say it's a passion project. I don't want to speak too soon, but you could definitely tell it looks like Left 4 Dead 3.
I'd say definitely spiritual successor, and we will be back with some more impressions of Back for Blood after we've played it on the next episode of the Sweaty Cast. But there were a couple of other announcements that were, I mean, some were interesting. Like, there was that not Dead Space game that's coming out that I could have sworn was Dead Space and it isn't. But I think what he said, the developer, the director, was that it's literally going to be Dead Space without Dead Space. We want to make a game that's scarier than Dead Space, which I'm all for. It's going to be single player focused. So I'm going to be watching that closely whenever that comes out, 2 to 3 years. There was this, probably in my opinion, the worst trailer of the show. I don't care what y'all say. I know y'all are fans of this, but Ark 2. Bro, what? First off, that trailer was like 40 minutes long, number one. I didn't know when that trailer was going to end. I could have sworn, yo, is this Horizon 2? But wait, they already announced Horizon 2. This is a world premiere. And then we see Vin Diesel, and I'm just like, ah, shit, here we go. I fucking knew it was going to be some bullshit. And it ended up being Ark 2. Again, another example. Y'all can be excited about Vin Diesel being in Ark. Y'all can be excited about Ark.
I'm not excited for Vin Diesel. I am excited for Ark because I have like 300 hours put into Ark.
But here's my thing. I know, because you like Ark, Gabe. That game is not going to look like that. Why do we keep doing this? Like, oh yeah, let's just put out this CGI cinematic trailer. It's not going to be indicative of what people are going to be playing at all. And is this game even going to run? Like, man, go ahead, Gabe. Talk about this shit. I need to calm down.
Yeah.
I gotta check my blood pressure. Holy crap.
Chris needs a Prozac. I mean, I'm excited for it only because I don't know. I played a lot of like those survival type games when they first like popped into I guess the gaming world. Rust in the beginning, Daisy and stuff like that. And I've always thought from the very beginning, I was like, someone said Ark 1 wasn't you're not wrong.
Oh shit! And this coming from the guy who likes the game.
I have 300 hours in, by the way. I was really excited for it. When they first announced Ark, I've always imagined those survival games with dinosaurs. I always thought that, maybe because I'm just a big dinosaur fan. But I was always like, hey, it would be really cool instead of zombies, just hear me out, but it's dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And I was like, why the fuck is this not cashed in yet? And 3 years later, we get Ark, and Ark is it's Ark. it's I don't know. It's an acquired taste because it sells. It still sells. It's on the Xbox. It's on the PS4. It still has regular content updates. It has holiday updates. It's played by a mass amount of people. It's still up there on as far as Twitch viewership goes. It's not a forgotten about game, but it's like one of those games that it has so many issues that the people that are playing it are just in denial and just accept the issues. Like I'm telling you, man, that game has got some most frustrating ass shit. The clipping in that game and the delay that you can get in that game is one of the most frustrating ass shits you've ever seen. You ever been running through the pitch dark at night, butt ass naked with the torch being chased by velociraptors, and you finally make it to your hut, but joke's on you, the bugs in that game get you, and the velociraptor clips through the wall and eats your ass anyways.
Oh
so then
my God.
you gotta make another 50-mile trek through the dark, butt ass naked, looking for a torch again, trying to get back to your goddamn hut that you died to some bullshit ass bugs. Like that shit's still in the game.
And then
like,
out of nowhere, an Ewok appears. Dude. Swear to
Space
God,
Vietnam there,
bro. I'm telling you, that just when you said running through the dark, pitch black, I just thought of the Ewok assault. And if y'all have not played Battlefront 2, shout out to Battlefront 2 because that Ewok assault mode,
that game mode is amazing.
Yo,
like there, if you got it's on Game Pass, isn't it?
Yeah, by association, yeah.
It's on there. It's literally on sale all the time. It's on Steam too, brothers.
It's on Steam, yeah. I love how you had to mention that because people be like, I don't want to get Origin. It's on Steam now.
Yeah, Origin. Almost all games on Origin are on Steam now. So like, I don't even think Origin's on my computer anymore. That shit, Control Alt Delete, that shit's gone.
I gotta go ahead and I don't know. I don't think I'd be that person, but I might rebuy Battlefront just to have it on Steam.
I'm the same way because guess what, guys? You only gotta link your Origin account. That's it, and then you just play the game. Like,
damn, I wish there was like a license transfer where it's like all your Origin games. That would be so dope. Because I remember, I don't know where it was, but there was some company out there, their games, like you could transfer the license over to Steam, or at least if you had it on Steam, you could redeem it on theirs.
You're thinking of GOG.
Oh, so they had it.
Progress Company, yeah, they have that. If you own the game on Steam, you can get it on GOG.
But I don't think. Yeah, that's the only issue, which makes sense. But yeah, I mean, like, I don't like shitting on any games, you guys. I'm sure people who like Ark, if this game comes out and it's good, y'all are gonna enjoy it. I just hate these CGI cinematic trailers, especially the ones that are damn near as long as the Lord of the Rings trilogy, because that's what it shit felt like. But some people were saying it. Yeah, you're right. I thought it was a Turok reboot for a second. I thought that too.
I thought the same thing because we haven't seen that game series in such a long time since the PlayStation 3 one, or I think it was on the 360 as well. But you know what I'm talking about.
Turok. What's that? Turok Evolved or something? Like Turok something. Like yeah. That was
we haven't
something.
Seen the series since we haven't seen a game since then. But I thought that too. But no, we got Ark 2. So hopefully, the bug master of the game, because this game's been out for 6 years now, and it's still kind of in a really rough spot. I mean, it works. It's bugs. Like the optimization is better, but it still has issue. But I'm excited for Ark 2 just to hopefully, like, the gameplay trailer that I got in 2014. I hope that's what Ark 2 is. That's basically where I'm at.
Fingers crossed, but we'll see. We'll see what happens whenever that game releases, probably 2040. Now, I think that was basically all like the major announcements. There might have been a few things,
but was like Crimson Desert, which was an MMO, which again, I think that was mostly just a cinematic trailer, right? If I remember correctly.
The second you said cinematic, I just, bro, the switch turned off. I was like, ugh, like just don't.
Up and leaves. Oh, I think it was a gameplay trailer.
Oh, there we go. See, now I'm happy. I went from red to blue. There we go.
Yeah, no, it was it was a gameplay trailer reveal. It just looks like Black Desert Online, which you can play Black Desert Online if you want to play that. It still looks good. I'm not gonna get me wrong, it still looks good. Apparently it's supposed to be more of a PvE centric game where Black Desert Online is PvP. So yeah, there is a gameplay trailer for Crimson Desert. That does look like a good MMO.
Oh, nice. I just second y'all say cinematic and trailer in the same sentence, I just go off.
I forgot because they did have a cinematic trailer for it, and I couldn't remember if they released the gameplay trailer. But they honestly, the game looks so graphically like, I don't know, beautiful would be the proper term.
Yeah, graphically intense.
It's so intense that the cinematic trailer and the gameplay trailer are very similar in style. So I couldn't really remember if there was really like a difference between the two, but there is actually.
Do you want to know something really fucked up?
Hit me with it.
So my Apple Watch just sent me a notification saying elevated heart rate.
I said Chris needs to take a Prozac, and the Apple Watch said, "Yes, fam."
That's literally, yo, you show up to any show. I don't care if it's E3 or the Game Awards or it could be on your mama's flat screen TV. If you show me a cinematic trailer that is not indicative of a game I'm going to be spending $70 on, God bless everybody.
Chris be looking like that confused David meme of that kid with the confused face. You know what I'm talking about?
Confused David. That brings me back, bro.
I think that's what it's called. It's
Yo, let me, man, listen. Okay. All right. Anyway.
No, we done with your man listens. I told you. I'm done with your man listens after your Twitter rant about gilfs. We're done with the man.
Hey, listen. We'll save that. You know, man. Listen.
I'm done with
God. This guy. All right. Okay. So. Let's move into the final bit, and this will be what we're gonna it's gonna bring us home, Gabe. It's gonna bring us home. Let's talk about.
It's gonna be it's a can opener.
Yeah, it definitely is. So y'all, right now, you guys, before we get into this, because you know it's about to get really spicy in this video section. Gabe's got his water. My thing is frozen right now, so I might need to get some more water later. But y'all, right now, I want to just take a minute because I haven't done it so far. But I want y'all to go ahead, and if you are enjoying the stream, make sure y'all hit that like button. It helps out the channel tremendously. It sends this video out into the aether so more people can, you know, become a part of the Phantom Weirdo Nation. So hit that like button and also share this out on Twitter to all your friends, your fam, things like that, because it gets more heads watching. Because it's about to go down. But before
it's gonna get sweaty.
It definitely is. Like, where's my deodorant? I just gotta put some under that shit right there, man. Let's get a sponsorship from a deodorant company.
Here we go.
Oh, but real quick.
Are you tired of smelly anime fans?
Don't get me started. I'm trying to be nice, man. I'm not trying to end off the year just decapitating niggas, man. But before we get into this topic, we have a $2 Australian super chat from Valkian24, aka Maddie. Shout out to the homie, longtime supporter of the channel. He says, I saw the Nier Replicant gameplay. Oh, he says, saw the Nier Replicant gameplay on the pre-show. I didn't get a chance to see the Nier gameplay, considering I was out picking up Cyberpunk, which is just an L on my part, considering how we feel about the game. But I didn't see any of the gameplay. If y'all in the comment section want to elaborate what y'all thought about it. I mean, I'm looking forward to it.
I saw the trailer, but not during the pre-show. I saw it when PlayStation did their upload.
Okay, cool. So I haven't got a chance to see it because personally, provided this is a good remaster, it's going to be a day one buy. I don't really need to see any footage. You know how you have some games that are like that, Gabe?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I actually, you know, it's funny speaking of that. I actually go into most of my games that I buy. I know this is going to sound like kind of crazy, but I actually go into most of my games blind. I usually watch the announcement trailer and maybe the story or the gameplay trailer or something else that's announced after that.
Right.
I usually never really dive into it. Like when I bought Ghost of Tsushima, Last of Us, Spider-Man, Horizon, all those games, I literally only watched 2 trailers. That's about it. Most of the time, I like to go into a lot of my games blind just to have an unbiased opinion. I don't want to feed into the internet drama or leaks or anything else that really, you know, can drive a negative opinion. I'd rather just come in as like as a pure soul than like someone saying, yeah, this game was fucking ass, you know? I mean, yeah, I guess that's what we did with Cyberpunk, but the game's fucking ass.
Bro, I mean, I do this, especially the older I get. I don't really, I mean, I obviously I don't have as much time, ironically, considering I run a YouTube channel. I don't have as much time to keep tabs on every single game's announcement and every single trailer. So with Cyberpunk, that game was, I guess, the first major test, because I did it with Final Fantasy VII Remake to an extent, but to be fair, that game we was waiting for so many years for that one. And we saw right. But with Cyberpunk, I went into that blind, considering I knew it's come from CD Projekt Red. So if it wasn't, so I saw the 18-minute gameplay thing they did, I think in like 2018, And then if it
Didn't watch
wasn't
it.
put, yeah, if it wasn't put in front of a conference that I was watching, I didn't see any of the footage. So that's how I like to go into my games these
Yeah.
days, because I feel like when you keep looking up every single aspect about a game, as excited as you are, I feel like that sort of takes away from the experience. And then it becomes a commentary on trailer culture. How sometimes they would just be
Mm.
spoiling so much. And we see this in movies too. Like Sony Pictures
Oh
is
yeah.
very bad about this. They show all the money clips in their trailers. And it's like, well, I would have loved to see that in the movie and be surprised, you know?
Uh, that ruined a Terminator movie for me, which I mean didn't end up being that great. But honestly, if they would have kept that big ass spoiler out of that trailer, that probably would have been a completely different movie for me going into the theaters watching.
Right. So moving into our final topic of the night, you guys, and like I said, this is gonna be a sweaty one.
Oh yes.
The Last of Us Part 2 domination.
Woo!
Okay, so The Last of Us Part 2, that game, it swept. It won almost every single award category that it was nominated in, with the most
Yeah.
important one being the game of the year, or at least for a lot of people out there, that's the one they cared about, because they said it doesn't matter if it wins this award or that award. If it wins the game of the year, I have no faith or credibility in this industry. Which before we
This
dive
shit
into,
is packed.
right, or as people in my comment section, because it became a meme, we were saying everything was rigged as a joke, you know.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, you guys. Before we dive into our own personal thoughts on Last of Us Part 2, which is I guess going to be the first time we've both talked about it publicly.
Yeah.
The Last of Us Part 2 winning Game of the Year, winning any type of award you think of, like I mentioned earlier in the video, why does that take away your personal enjoyment and experience playing the game? Because somebody else liked it enough to give it an award? And for a lot of people out there who are going to say, oh, it's biased, it's rigged in favor of The Last of Us, all these shows are just, because everyone says this every single year. Don't trust
They
the Game
do.
Awards. And y'all know this in the comment section. Do not come here and say, well, I never said that, because you did. I will pull up the receipts. Every single year, people say, why do you guys watch the Game Awards? Why do you listen to IGN, GameSpot, Game Trailers, all these places? Because they're paid off, they're biased, blah, blah, blah. So why in the world are you guys getting so pissy and upset that the people you say are biased and paid off are giving awards to the games that you said that they were biased and paid off for? Does that make any sense whatsoever? Like, it's like you guys say you want honor and integrity, but you're going to say it's biased, but you're going to give the same energy to those shows. Like, I personally don't understand that, because to me, I didn't care if The Last of Us Part 2 won Game of the Year, if Hades won, if, you know, Ori won, if
Also
Ghost
same.
of Tsushima or any other game. Hell, they could, for all they want, they could have just said, yo, we're going to nominate The Witcher 3 on the Switch for Game of the Year, right?
Think of it like Avengers is a game of the year.
Okay, someone's definitely paid off for that one. Listen, I'm just being real. Nah, fam. Nah, fam. Listen,
His
no.
opinion changes.
Oh, absolutely it does, because nobody's nominating that shit. But yo, so in my personal opinion, I don't care if it won, because if it won, cool. If it loses, cool. I don't care, because my opinion on that game is not changing. What do you, before you dive into your thoughts, Gabe, what do you just think about all this discourse surrounding The Last of Us even being nominated?
Honestly, it's the most craziest topic I've ever dived into with almost anybody that cares about this subject. Like, most generally people, I could talk to a couple of people, gamers at work, and be like, oh, Last of Us, and I'd be like, oh, never played it, but seems like a good game. Or they'd be like, oh yeah, Last of Us, I've heard some things, but I haven't tried it yet, but I'm thinking about it. Or you'll get that one guy, yeah, The Last of Us, fuck that game. That game's atrocious. That's where you get into the juice of the net, and
Oh,
that is the
God.
majority of the people that you speak to that come to this game award show. Like, like the amount of, what was it? Everyone saying that it was rigged. It was rigged. It was rigged. It was rigged. The controversy are surrounding that game is insane, bro. It's absolutely ludicrous. The amount, as like Chris likes to say, rent free in people's heads. Rent free in people's heads. And, you know, people turning this shit into a goddamn personality trait. Y'all turning this into a fucking gender. People are gonna be labeling themselves, what's your gender? Male, female. Now, Last of Us Part 2 didn't like it.
Oh,
like,
shit.
that's like turning into a goddamn gender.
Oh shit! He really said that. I'm dead. I mean, that is true. But before we dive into this, we've got a $5 super chat coming in from Dongo-san33, aka the homie Austin. Thank you so much for that. He says, "I know this is a late comment, but all studios need to take trailer examples from Smash Bros. They show enough gameplay and cuts the CG near flawlessly, and that is a fact, bro. It was so engaging of a trailer because you watch it, oh, you get the gameplay, this is how it plays. Then it just like does a really like sexy ass transition back into the CG footage, man. It was awesome. So again, shout out to the people who cut the trailers for Smash Bros. Y'all did a great job. But back onto The Last of Us. Yeah, I mean, the controversy about the game, and we're going to bring up another example that is going to piss off a lot of people. I can see the dislikes coming. I can see it. The Last Jedi.
So, yes.
Yes, here's the thing. Okay. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this once. I'm going to make this very clear. It is okay.
Listen, everybody.
Yeah, listen up. It is okay to dislike The Last of Us Part 2. It is okay to dislike Star Wars The Last Jedi. What is not okay is y'all motherfuckers making this shit your personality trait, where whenever someone even mentions it, whether it's positive, negative, or neutral, y'all got your essays that you've already Control-C, Control-V'd into every single section saying that this game ruined your lives, ruined your childhood, kicked your dogs into the sewer. I've never seen this type of energy. Like, bro, everybody knows I can't stand Final Fantasy 15. Everybody knows I think that game was a disaster. But you want to know something? I don't go on every single Square Enix post talking about how they fucked that game up. Do you want to know why? Because I am an adult, and I would rather take that energy and use it towards better things like finishing games, which I'm going to call out a lot of these people, because a lot of these people hating on The Last of Us Part 2, number one, have never even played. They never finished it. They never even played it. They watch people do playthroughs on YouTube, and if they supposedly did play through the end, I ask for their trophy scores. They don't show them. They don't fucking show them.
Yeah, if you got hidden trophy scores on PlayStation, I can't trust your opinion. I'm sorry. Why? First off, you got to manually go and change that setting.
Yes.
So why are you hiding your trophy score to begin with? Why are you hiding what trophies you got? Y'all sus if you do that shit. There's no reason to be changing that. That just means that you're backing up something that you don't want us to know.
It's ridiculous, and that's the thing, you guys, because like I said, it doesn't matter if you dislike the game, but the energy y'all are bringing into this, when a lot of people, for the most part, have moved on, realize that a lot of people who are talking about The Last of Us Part 2, they're saying it because, like, talking about it in a positive way, they're saying it because you guys spent, like, 6 months on this hate campaign trying to, trying to bring the game down, making these videos saying that the game flopped and it's being in other retailer territories in the world. They were giving the game away for free and all this stuff with no proof or credit to back that stuff up. And it's like,
Best Buy's got them in stock. The game didn't sell.
Right, exactly. It's like this dumbass stuff. It's Naughty Dog said the game sold 4 million copies in 3 days. Oh, that's a flop. Like,
what was it? 3 million? I'm sorry, I said 4. 3 million copies in how many days?
I can't believe that. And for example, Seth, right here, Seth brought up a great point. The Last of Us Part 2 has a 60% completion rate, the highest AAA PlayStation game. And Game of Thrones, wow, I'm sorry, because GOT, I think Game of Thrones, but Ghost of Tsushima is 45, and The Witcher 3 is 26%. How the hell does The Last of Us Part 2 have a 60% completion rate if nobody bought the game, if nobody out there even played the game, nobody finished it? Oh, the accessibility options. If you don't you'll get your dumb ass out of here, like, yo. But it's just what it comes down to. And again, I enjoyed the game. I have gripes with the game because it's not perfect. Nothing is perfect. But the way y'all come in here, just like Neil Druckmann and Naughty Dog be living in y'all's heads rent free. They on your couch. They fucking your bitch. They eating your chips. Like, yo, this is not okay.
But fucking pissing in your toilet and eating your fruit snacks.
Yo, and not even flushing the toilet too. Not even flushing the toilet, man. Not even.
They straight up number 1 and 2 in that shit and leaving it for your ass to come home to.
Yo, man. By the way, I just pissed on your rug. Sorry about that. But we got a $5 Canadian super chat from Tunde Abimbola. Sorry if I butchered that, man. People out here acting like The Last of Us Part 2 stole their significant other. Oh, you didn't know? Yo, Neil Druckmann, he be posting these pics on his private Twitter account saying just laid up here with the homies bitch, and he at them, bro. It's spooky, man. That boy Neil Druckmann. Yo, man, listen, that boy Neil Druckmann, you wild.
That fucking Neil, dude, he came into my house, made a sandwich, and left the fucking bread on the table out.
I heard he left the bread.
Now.
First off, I heard he took his grubby ass hands that he just scratched his balls with. He found the best slice of bread like he was going through a filing cabinet. He put those pieces, left you the other one, left the dirty ass knife on the table. There's bugs flying everywhere. That's what these Last of Us people on YouTube, trust me, bro. Trust me. They told me these things about Neil Druckmann. Oh God. But yes, back onto topic about the game. I didn't care that it won the awards. I didn't care if it lost the awards. I mean, the game itself, we might as well just dive into our impressions. And here's the thing.
Spoiler alert.
This is spoiler territory, you guys. Spoiler alert for a 6-year-old game that's on sale for $30 right now. Just letting you know. Spoiler alert. When it came to Last of Us Part 2, similar to Cyberpunk, that was already a game I was looking forward to. So I said, you don't need to show me nothing. It's a story-driven experience. Fine. But when the leaks started coming out, I will admit, I did dive down the rabbit hole, and I
avoided those.
He avoided them. I remember because like we were talking, and I
said I ain't watching no trailer, no gameplay, nothing. I'll wait till the game comes out.
And it was so hard to discuss this with people who are level-headed, because Gabe is a level-headed individual. There's some people who I will not name who I didn't even say anybody.
I just sorry. Populated Google search.
There's some people out there who you can't even have a rational conversation with because they've already made up their minds. The context, the nuances, all that stuff going out the window. They just see this and they think that. And I saw the leaks, and I will admit, I didn't like what I was looking at. I was disgusted. I could not believe what was going on. And I was like, yo, this game, I might have to cancel my pre-order on because it's just, I don't like where they're going with this story, right? But I didn't do that.
And Chris, didn't you wait to play it too? You didn't even play it at the beginning. Didn't you wait
I waited.
A good minute there?
I waited a few weeks to play it. I waited almost a month to play the game because I wanted to let the discourse die down a little. And I'm so glad that I waited a bit because when I started talking about it, that was after the vast majority of the people didn't really they stopped talking about it, and now it ginned back up again because of the Game Awards. And I'm so glad that I did play the game in its entirety because I realized that controversial moment, which again we're into spoiler territory, which is Abby, going to town with that golf club on Joel. that was in the first hour of the game.
Yeah.
And then as I was playing this, I realized, whoa, I have another 25 to 30 hours left. So let me see the full context of this, because that's how they open the game. That's how they open the game in the first hour.
And a lot of y'all, and just a quick minute, a lot of y'all turned off your PlayStations and never played it again. Wait.
What do you mean? Don't you mean that they turned off the YouTube stream they were watching?
Sorry, y'all turned off the Twitch and YouTube streams and said, nah, this game trash. Going to Metacritic and any other site that you can buy a game on and that you don't have to verify your purchase and leaving a shit ass review.
Right. And real quick, and this is actually a perfect segue. Raijin coming through with the $2 super chat. Thank you so much for that, homie. Appreciate it. Hope you're doing well. Half the damn leaks were lies too. Another big factor. Yes. Those leaks that everyone was reading, and I read those too, I was disgusted. And then I played the game, and only about, I would say 15% of those leaks were real. Now that 15% was like the big money leak, the Abby killing Joel. But other than that, there was all this other stuff talking about how, what's it called? Dina, she was pregnant and then she died at the end, and then other things like
I read
Ellie.
Those leaks after I finished the game, and I was like, half this shit's isn't even in the game. What the fuck they going on about? Yeah,
Dina was pregnant, she died, and then there was Ellie dying in one path, and then Abby leaving flowers on her grave, and all this crazy stuff. And I'm so glad I actually played the game and formulated my own opinion, because first off, the story does not go the way that these people expected. And
it's a SJW driven storyline for political narratives.
yeah, like that whole stuff that all these the neckbeards on YouTube be saying. And I mean, Gabe, you know this. We talk about this because Gabe and I, we're all against this whole forced inclusion, this forced like representation for the sake of it, like just to like, oh, you know, let's put this in here, but there's no type of actual meaning for it.
Right.
But when I was playing Last of Us Part 2, I didn't see that. Like, there's one character that people said, oh,
Yeah.
it's in your face, and it's in your face, and it's terrible. And I went the entire game, and I was talking to Gabe. I'm like, Gabe, I don't think I've met this character yet. And he's like, how far are you? I said, oh, I'm at this part. You've met the character already. I was like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, it's literally the smallest line of dialogue in the game. I mean, maybe you can kind of tell in the beginning, but it's hard to tell because they're teenage kids, so you know you're not too sure. But there's a part in the game that they basically state that the game's pushing this transgender agenda, and that they're trying to liberalize the world and stuff. There's a character in the game whose name is Lev. Lev happens to be born a girl but identifies as a guy. You literally only know this from a small discussion that they have in the game with Abby and this character during a scene when the other faction, the wolves, are or not the wolves, the scavs, the crazy cult people.
Mhm.
They're hunting down Lev because Lev was a when before he was like, hey, I'm a guy, cut all of her hair off and was like, fuck this, I don't want to be in your guys' cult. And women were forbidden to cut their hair, so they get a shaved top and leave the cult. Well, the cult's like, well, you can't do that, so we're gonna have to hunt you down. So the only reason why you know this is because during that dialogue scene, they're calling Lev by her female name, Lily. And Abby's like, hey, why do these guys keep calling you Lily? And Lev just says that it was a name that I used to be called by, but I'm not that person anymore. That's the only fucking dialogue in the whole goddamn game that insinuates anything. If you were not paying attention or were in an intense scene during that part, you would never notice it.
So what you're telling me is it's done organically and they actually wove it into the story without being preachy?
Yes.
What? But Gabe, I was told by people whose names rhyme with the mortaring and blue flashes, I was told by these people that this is SJW propaganda. Like, what is going on? Are you telling me they lied?
They fucking lied to us. Refund your game if you haven't already. It's probably too goddamn late, but you can go complain to Sony and try to get a refund just like we all are for Cyberpunk. And you might get through to someone. I heard they might be patching out Lev in 6
Oh my
months.
God.
So
but yeah, it's situations like that where I always wondered, where is this terrible game that people were talking about? Where is this agenda? And mind you, we are woke to the woke bullshit. So it's not like we're sitting here and being like damage controlling because we think it's great for representation. No. But I don't like we can call out the crazy SJWs. We can also call out these crazy anti-SJWs, which that is what a lot of y'all are. A lot of y'all are like this. Y'all are doing the exact same thing that you bastardize the people over there for doing. It's the exact same thing. That's the thing about extremes. It works both ways. So
yeah.
So that was the thing. Like I was wondering, where's this evil, terrible game I was finding? I couldn't find it because the game itself, the experience that I got was really good. And I think you remember my thought process was kind of shifting as I was playing. I remember I was playing it and I was like, I don't know, man. I don't think this game is for me.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not even the story.
Kinda...
It was like not even the story, but I'm like, it's not really hooking me, but I'm playing through it. And then it clicked and I was like, okay, let's see what happens next. And
that's how it was for me too, because the only thing out of everything I heard before I started playing was it was this big SJW propaganda wheel. And so while playing through the whole game, I just wanted to see those segments so I could see for myself what it was. Mind you, I didn't go into what these leaks were until I finished the game, but after hearing that portion, I was like, all right, where's this part at? So I kept pushing through the game, looking purposely looking for any sight of that, and it's literally not in the game whatsoever.
Yeah, and that's the final piece we're gonna say as far as that's concerned. I mean, if listen, okay, I just say this because I'm trying to save y'all time and energy and myself because I don't need to elevate my blood pressure more. Or else my Apple Watch is gonna say breathe again.
Breathe.
But listen, if you dislike The Last of Us Part 2, keep that shit to yourself, just like any other thing you dislike. Don't be going into people's comment section just because they like it. Don't be going on Naughty Dog's Twitter threads just saying Merry Christmas and saying, it's not a Merry Christmas for me. I hope you get coal in your stocking, Neil Druckmann. Like, don't be doing that shit. It's like, yo, don't even, like, it's not even worth it. Like, do you all, okay, I'm just going to put this to the test. All of y'all out there, pretend COVID didn't exist. Try going into a bar and doing this same Last of Us Part 2. See who the fuck will listen. Because this shit, I can go into a bar and I can talk about a lot of things. And I can mac. But y'all try doing that to a girl who says she really liked The Last of Us Part 2 and you come in here with that dumb shit. It's so dumb. It is so dumb. It is so dumb.
It's not flattering.
It is not flattering. It's one thing. Listen, you can have discourse and say you don't like the game. That's fine. Yeah, we are all humans. Absolutely. Like me and Gabe back and forth. Do you know how many times I roast this man for liking The Rise of Skywalker?
It's quite often, guys. It's a personality trait for Chris.
Yeah, it is. It is. But you know what? Gabe is a homie. He's a day one of mine. And I realize he likes that. And I'm okay with it. Y'all don't even let the people like the stuff because you think that there's something wrong with them if they like it. Like, do you know how juvenile that is?
You're woke, Chris. You like The Last of Us. You're so goddamn woke.
I don't even care at this point because these dumbasses haven't even gotten laid before. Like, come on. Let's just call it like it is. You can't get laid. Like, that's where all this energy is because people who get laid do not have the energy for this dumb crap. And that's not just because The Last of Us Part 2. Try this shit with any game. With any game. Like, you obviously do not have anything else going on in life if this is your personality trait. Now, we can talk about some of the bad stuff, like the crunch aspect behind The Last of Us Part 2.
I was thinking of that the entire time, too, the crunch on that.
Yes, that is definitely a discussion worth having because that is a genuine problem in the game industry, and it affects Cyberpunk as well, and people should not be downplaying that. I saw a lot of people on The Last of Us Defense Force downplaying the crunch aspect. You know, shout out to my homie. I love this man, Broken Games HD. Right? Cool dude. Love the guy. But when he comes out and you're saying, you know, the stuff about crunch, like, it's not a big deal. If you are going to crunch, at least get a good game out of it. I disagree with that. I feel like crunch is a failure on the management. And that is something I will say. In the Game Awards, The Last of Us winning the award for best direction or something like that, I don't think that a game that had that much crunch burning out the developers should win best direction. I do not. I do not, because that the best direction is just indicative of everything in the process. So yes, I agree with y'all. I stand with y'all on that. Everything else, y'all motherfuckers need Jesus. That's what all I can say as far as that's concerned. But the game itself, gameplay, I think that the game is like damn near perfect. I think the gameplay is amazing.
It's an improvement over the first game. Like the bloat of a lot of the content is gone. No more, like, there is hardly any ladder or plank segments in that game.
Oh my god. Yo, can we, like, that's the thing. I know a lot of people are like, oh, the first Last of Us is better in every way. I'm like, really? Do you know how repetitive the first Last of Us was?
Like, look, you can hate the story.
Yes, you can hate the story.
You can hate characters. You can hate all of those concepts, but the gameplay itself is a lot better than the first game. It is improved everything of what the first game was and just ups it up. Just ups it up. It's the same thing like they did with the Uncharted series.
Yes.
It's the same exact concept. Like I said, personal feelings aside, you can, be like, yo, I hate this SJW product, Abby's a piece of shit character, yada yada yada. But the gameplay itself is spicy.
And I love the contrast between Abby and Ellie's playstyles because, spoiler alert, you can actually play as both in the game and they both function very differently. So Ellie is a lot more stealth based when it comes to her movements and her weapon and her arsenal. what's the word I'm looking for?
Arsenal?
Something like that. Yeah. Her arsenal weaponry is not as diverse as Abby's, whereas Abby's is straight up like, yo,
No.
Rambo, guns blazing. But
It is, yeah.
you can actually play stealth with Abby's character too, so it's not like it's a contrast of perspectives. But it's great, and I loved just dude. And this is why I think Naughty Dog is really unmatched in this aspect. Naughty Dog and their attention to detail when it comes to things that you don't even expect in the games, like this game, listening, movements, all of that stuff plays a role with the enemy AI.
The enemy AI
Oh
is
my
insane in that
God.
game. The enemy AI in that game is like big brain 200 IQ. Like, if you get shot with a high caliber weapon, your ass falls on the ground.
Yes.
Like the AI is relentless in that fucking game.
It is. And especially when you get into the higher difficulties and you start tweaking some of the settings, make it ultra realistic, that's a game where you have to conserve your ammo and you have to make sure the patterns that you're trying to do. And that's another thing. A lot of people can't really cheese this game as much as the last ones. Because you know how like usually when it comes to stealth games, you get into the habit of, okay, this is the area where they can detect me, and so long as I don't hit that area, I'll be good. But the
Right.
enemies, when like let's say for example, there's a failed you failed to assassinate somebody, and you have to run for cover. That enemy is now on alert, so it's not like he goes back to his old way of patrolling. He's
You're
looking.
done for.
Yeah, he's looking all around, and it's not even like someone just brought it up in the comment section. The verticality of this. So it's not just like they're looking left or right. They're looking down below. They're looking on top. And
They are.
yeah. So it's
Like you can like well, like one of the big mechanics in the game is prone, and there's a lot of things you can climb under in that game. So like if you climb under a car, like he just said, the enemy will look underneath that car. So like they do go and look for you, especially with another like new AI in that game is the dogs as
man.
well. And the dogs just completely just change the whole fucking game. Like they just change everything you think you know about the combat system at that point. It's out the window when it comes to dogs, because the dogs find your scent. So the dogs know your last known position. So if the dogs come across a position you went or somewhere you went, they pick up your trail and they will find you.
Yeah. So there's a lot more innovation when it comes to the gameplay design, and the game is so much fun. But speaking more about the game and the technical aspects of it, again, Naughty Dog is just, they're like one of the few developers that if they put out a game at 30 frames per second, it actually runs smooth. Like I noticed this with Rockstar with Red Dead Redemption 2. I noticed this with Insomniac with Spider-Man. It's like their 30 frames is built different than other 30 frames. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because there's definitely dips in those games. They're just not as often, but they're there through certain rapid movements where like Naughty Dog's games, it's 30 FPS, it's at 30 FPS.
Right. And everything about like the animations and everything is on point, like the attention to detail when you're crafting.
Oh yeah.
And
I love those.
yes.
I love the weapon benches scenes. So like in
Yeah.
that game, you can.
Whew, that's straight up weapon porn right there. That scene, man. That's what it is.
It's juicy. So
Yeah.
like just like in the first Last of Us, you can upgrade your guns. You do the same in Last of Us 2 and weapon benches, and you actually like take apart your gun. So if you change like I don't know, like you want to like lower the recoil of that gun, there's actually a whole like scene of you taking apart that whole fucking gun and putting it together. And if your gun was dirty from previous combat, your character also cleans off that weapon and it becomes new looking.
The animations are on point. I mean, I kind of feel bad for the animation department because before we did this stream, Gabe and I were talking of how a lot of people don't know the work that goes into animation and how much work it goes to do like a single frame of something. Like for example, Gabe, you brought up Jurassic Park, right? Let me know about your example and how like crazy it is, but people don't realize how insane of a process it is.
Yeah, so like when the first Jurassic Park movie came out, when they were processing the scenes with the T-Rex, because not all of them are animatronic, there was a couple like actual CGI computer scenes. The scene when they all get in the Jeep after picking up Jeff Goldblum's character and they're driving away from the T-Rex, there's a scene where they drive under like a tree branch and it rips the top of the Jeep off and the T-Rex runs into that tree branch. that whole segment of the T-Rex running into that tree branch was all CGI'd. So to get that scene rendered, it took 6 hours per frame to get that scene rendered, and it was done in a room with like 10 plus Apple computers, just with fans and the AC running constantly. It took like months to get that whole scene rendered. Just like shit like that, like the amount that they put into that shit is just insane when it comes down to like the art direction.
It's crazy. And then you notice it with all the animations, like with the rope especially. Oh god, there'd be some times where
The rope.
I
love
know
the rope.
I know what I'm doing supposed to do with the rope, but I'd be like, let me see if I can throw the rope over here. Let's see how it reacts. Oh wow, it really went over that tree branch. I mean, it's not like I can do anything, but that's dope. So they went hard with
detail.
that. Yeah, so the attention to detail, Naughty Dog is on point. I see some people in the comments saying, well, maybe we shouldn't celebrate that. We already talked about the Naughty Dog crunch aspect. We talked about it before. We said it's not a good thing. So there's that. But all we could do is appreciate the product of what it is. And remember, a lot of you guys, what would happen if some of your favorite games you found out had crunch? Because remember, we don't know anything about the crunch aspect until a whistleblower comes out. So anyone who's in the comments section bagging on Naughty Dog, are you going to have the same energy when your favorite game of all time, you found out it had crunch too? That's all I'm saying. Just keep it 100%. Just keep it 100.
Yeah, like I'm not saying I don't approve of crunch at all, but the product's there. I can't change it.
Yeah.
I might as well try to appreciate, the time they spent on it and the horrible shit they had to go through to get it out. Not saying it's a great thing, but you can't change it. I can't say, hey, Last of Us, don't make it.
It's like they're very draconian. They say, oh, we shouldn't applaud this because of that. It's like, yes, we should work that it's better working conditions. We should work towards that. But we can also appreciate the hard work they put into that thing, because if we didn't, I feel like it's just all for loss,
Right. America was built on blood. I guess I gotta eject myself out of the country now.
Yeah, that's like every country in the world. It's like if we were going to base it based off of that versus what we can do to build a better tomorrow, I don't know. It's like, yeah, I understand America's history, especially as a black man. I understand America's history is very flawed and fucked up, and for the majority of black people, we didn't start living here until like 50 years ago, without any issues. But at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and act like I can't do anything else to better tomorrow, better my lineage, my legacy, and the people around me. So it's that. But yeah, and talking about other games is the definition of what about. No, it's not. No. It's true, though. It's true in this situation. If you found out your favorite game had this, we're not saying it's acceptable. We are not. But a lot of y'all, I'm not saying you in particular, but a lot of you guys don't keep that same energy to everything else. No. You don't. And that's just how it is. And we're not saying this to defend The Last of Us Part 2. I would apply this to any other logic, because Rockstar had crunch too. Rockstar had crunch. All these developers have crunch. I'm not saying it's okay. But a lot of y'all don't keep the same energy, and you only have this energy for The Last of Us and now Cyberpunk. You didn't have this years when all the other crunch reports happening. None of y'all did. And I know this because I've been on this internet shit for 12 plus years. I know this shit. But back on point to some of the other aspects that I liked. So yeah, the gameplay is great. I like the different styles between Allie and and Ellie.
I love
Abby. I know Evie's great fusion Potara, for that. But that's it's so hard to get back on point when people are just trying to, like, it's like you're talking about the good stuff. Well, what about this bad thing? I'm like, all right, bro. whatever helps you sleep at night. That's all I can say. But
I feel pretty comfortable.
I do too, man. I do too. I'm good with that shit. But yo, Abby, as her play style is more concerned, I do love that. And this is what's so cool about it, because in this game, you can't just like melee the shit out of people. You cannot.
No, it does not. It does not work like The Last of Us, the first game's melee system. Like the first game, you could just batter up and beat the hell out of someone or an infected or anyone. And in this one, it's like melee needs to be your last option, or you need to know melee is gonna fucking work, because it's gonna bite you in the ass if you don't do it properly.
Straight up, man. And then, crafting is the big aspect, and preserving your ammo. I'm all over the place. Well, we've been going for over 2 hours now. It's kind of expected to sure. Preserving ammo, things like that. It's just a really, really fun game to play. Like, I loved every single encounter that I was in, and just finding different ways to go about addressing the entire scenario. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the cool thing is, no two scenarios are exactly the same on your playthrough.
That shit is that shit gets spicy each time.
Right, yeah, especially when you get towards the end of the game where things really start amping up with Abby's character. It's a lot of fun, man. But moving into some things that like because some people in the comments are gonna say you're not being critical enough. Some things I didn't like about the game, not the crunch, because a lot of y'all only focus on the crunch because y'all haven't played the game. We can speak about the game and its flaws, with a lot of y'all don't because you watch YouTube streams.
It's like the equivalent of like not liking a movie because one of the actors in it did something fucked up.
Oh
that's
my!
all they can talk about.
Like
they can't talk about the other positivity.
I love. Someone said I don't want to watch the Avengers movie. I said why? Well, because Mark Ruffalo is too liberal. Is Mark Ruffalo in the movie as Mark Ruffalo? Is he? Like I don't know. Some people like that. Some of these people are just retarded as fuck. But yeah, back on like some of the things I thought was like, even though I enjoyed the story and I totally got what they were going for, I do think there was some jankiness with the pacing. So in the game, there are a lot of flashback segments. I mean, you already have switching between Allie and
Abby.
I'm telling you, 2 hours.
Is there a girl in your life right now that you're talking to that's named Allie?
Yo, Gabe Stradamus right here. I'm gonna tell you about that shit later, bro. But yes, there is a girl named Allie. There's a girl named Allie. It's like
200 IQ.
200 IQ Gabe in the stream. There we go. But yeah, so Abby. So so the story is split up. You play a couple chapters as Abby. You play a couple chapters as Ellie, and then in the new DLC, you're gonna be playing as Allie.
Yeah. I can't wait. 2022.
There we go. And that's fine because you get a little bit of each character and it's cool. But what happens is for both characters, they have a lot of flashback segments.
There's a ton of flashback segments. It's like you ever watch Naruto Shippuden? It's like that.
Yo, literally, that's what it is. And the thing is, the content of those scenes is very important. Like one of my favorite flashback scenes is Ellie and Joel in the museum.
I love that one.
For the birthday. It's so good. Like a lot of those scenes is great. Character building pieces, very emotional. But the problem is that it's just it messes with the flow of the story because
it really does cut it off like in weird parts.
Yeah, like I think it would be like if they were to move things around, I think it would be more organic as opposed to, oh, here's this crazy thing. Oh, let's do this flashback real quick. Back to the crazy thing. It's like, whoa, time out now, time out.
Yeah.
So I think that the pacing and the narrative was just pretty wonky, even though the story was good. And I will say this much. The game itself, while, like I said, everything about the story was good, I feel like it could have been shaved off a little bit, like the runtime.
Agreed.
Especially at the and you notice this at the end of the game when you know, like, are you getting to the end point? It seems to me like there's 3 different endpoints. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they hit us with that Return of the King. They gave us, 5 different endings.
Straight up. So I like when you got to that point, like I remember there's this one big scene that happens and you think, okay, this is probably going to be the end of the game. Wrong. You go on this whole different trek to this whole different place and it's like, okay. I mean, because what they did was they reset the pacing to back to 0. So you kind of have to build back up to that. But the problem is you're building back up, boom, and you're already up there. I was like, whoa. Well, you can't just do that because you just spent the whole game building up to that high point and everyone's shocked.
Right.
And then you back at 0 and it's like building up, boom. I was like, oh, no. So it was just, in my personal opinion, I think it could have been shaved down a little bit. And the flashbacks, while they are important, they could have just spaced them around. But what about you, Gabe? What were some of the complaints that you had outside of what I said?
Yeah, that was like one of the biggest ones is that it seemed like I said, like Return of the King, you would think it's going to end and then there's more to it. And saying there's more is like not like a bad thing, but in this scenario, it is to the extent of storytelling because you're at a part of the game. Here we go. Like I said, we already said spoilers, so
oh my god,
it's happening. It's happening.
I just noticed the dislikes went up crazy talking about The Last of Us. Wow.
You see how many people are. you can't help weak-minded people. You
I'm
can't help
sorry,
people.
and that's why I am not ashamed by saying these motherfuckers, they eat dick for breakfast. That's just what it is, man. I'm sorry. Like, if you're that mad at somebody else's opinion about a game,
Fragile.
if you're that fragile,
Fragile.
you do not need to be. You do not need to be on the internet. You don't even need to be talking to people. Because remember, in the real world, there's difference of opinions, but the only difference is the way y'all are acting right now. Motherfuckers would deck you in the face for saying shit like that. I'm just saying, y'all ain't cut out for this shit. I'm just saying. But continue, Gabe. I'm sorry, bro.
Yeah, you're good. But the pacing of those of those segments, like I was saying, um so you play as Abby and Ellie in the story. So the big like blow up is at the ending of Ellie's segment is where you go back to, I guess you want to say, your hideout. It's like a movie theater. And you guys go back after you went and looked for Abby. You kill Abby's lover, not lover, kind of confusing.
Yeah.
And his pregnant girlfriend, which the big like spoiler of that scene is you didn't know she was pregnant. So Ellie feels like a big piece of shit because Dina's pregnant, and it's just kind of like correlates in the story of, well, fuck. And so Ellie goes back home because she can't find Abby, and she went and searched everywhere, but they kind of explain what Abby was doing in that segment. So during that whole like big blow up scene, they're getting ready to go home, and Abby shows up and like just starts popping off at the movie theater, kills one of her best friends, fucks up Joel's brother, and it starts off with Abby holding them all hostage, telling them, I gave you a second chance and you ruined it. And then the game drops you out of that segment and starts you off on fucking Abby's campaign.
Yeah.
And you're in the middle of this super intense scene, and you don't get the climatic resolution for that scene until you finish Abby's campaign.
Right.
So it's stuff like that, because that does happen again at the ending of Abby's campaign. So they throw you out a lot with like the pacing of it. So that's one thing that really kind of bothered me, because I'm not gonna lie, during all of Abby's campaign, I just really wish that I was at Ellie's campaign just so I knew what happened.
Just that part. Well, yeah, they left it on a big cliffhanger. That's true.
And so I really wanted to plow through Abby's campaign, but in that moment of trying to get through Abby's campaign, I ended up really liking Abby's campaign. Like, things kept happening where like during the entire time I was like, fuck, I don't want to play Abby. I just want to play Ellie. I just want to know what the fuck's gonna happen. Fuck Abby. I don't give a shit about this bitch. And then, I'm going through, and then I'm like, okay. And like my mood just changed as I went through playing Abby's campaign. But then, like I said, then again, you get to that scene and it drops you out again. And so it's just, those moments drive me fucking crazy, because they go from 1 to 100. Even like the dropout moment of Abby's campaign, or Ellie into Abby's campaign. When you start off at Abby's campaign, they start you off at the hospital from the ending of The Last of Us, the first game. And so they start you off at the hospital of Joel popping off and what Abby was doing during that scene. And again, they get you in this whole crazy thing and they drop you out again. You won't get answers for that until later. So it's just like, those segments, like they like, I don't know, they just honeypot you a lot. They honeypot you. And that's the only thing that I could say that I really didn't like, because I wanted the answers then, not 10 hours later kind of scenario, especially when like the answer was right in front of your face.
True.
Like, you were getting the nip slip, but you got a blur.
Oh, like, you on point with them analogies. You 3 for 3, bro. 3 for 3 with that shit. But yeah, I mean, that's basically all I have to say on The Last of Us Part 2. I think that the game is fantastic. Despite my grievances with, like we said, the narrative and the pacing, I think the gameplay's on point. And whenever they do a PlayStation 5 patch, hopefully they do that, because I need to see it at 60 frames per second. I would love to play it at a higher resolution.
Same.
I think that a lot of people, as the years progress, they are going to be warming up to this game, because once people get over this whole drivel and all that stuff, like it's a video game. It's not like somebody's breaking into your home and burning your PlayStations, like a lot of people say. I mean, I'm pretty well. I used to say that it's all the younger people saying this, but now there's grown ass men with beards who are saying this shit.
No, there's there's grown as adults who these fragile beings who are still going on, and they see anything remotely positive about something they don't like, and it's like snaps fingers and starts
Literally, yeah. Like, let me tell you why you're wrong. And then I already can see that person. They see me
typing up
saying,
a goddamn Beethoven symphony on the keyboard. Like,
nah, they ready. They see a black person praising that game. You know their fingers tapping on that end key, bro. You already know that shit, bro. You know how that goes. You know how that goes, bro. And like I said, this is the Sweaty Cast. It is very unfiltered, unlike most of the other podcasts out there. You know what I'm saying? And we just we keep it like this. We're two dudes. We're two dudes in our 20s just talking about shit in our lives that we like and we dislike, and and that's it. Like, for example, The Last Jedi. I walked out of that movie 3 years ago hating it. I thought it was a piece of trash.
Mm-hmm.
And then I rewatched it like 2 years later. I was just like, oh, I still don't like it as much, but I can understand and respect it for what it is. That's a lesson in growth. You know, just because you don't like something doesn't mean that every single day you need to wake up and say, fuck The Last Jedi.
Yeah, exactly. And hey, I'm a be honest with y'all. I was one of those sweaty ass kids during high school who I was all about that Dragon Ball Z, right? It was all about that Dragon Ball Z. The only anime that existed, Dragon Ball Z. Naruto, no, get the fuck out of my face. I'll cuss you out. I shit on so many goddamn people up until around the about ninth grade. So my freshman and sophomore year era. I shit on so many people from middle school to high school about Naruto, and just was so goddamn angsty and just always just feeling my internet fire on going on YouTube, blowing people up, just letting teenage angst Gabe go fucking ham on people over and over and over until I eventually gave Naruto a single chance and from that point on it's fucking over.
Yep, exactly. That's how it is, man. That's how it is. And like I said, whenever they drop that multiplayer factions, I would love to play it and see what they've been working on, considering they didn't launch the game with it. And the way it's looking right now, I thought that they would launch it with the PS5, but it's looking like it's going to be 2021. I really hope, and this will be some scumbag shit, I don't want them to do this. I really hope that they release that as like a free mode for anybody to download, just because I think in the optics of like Warzone and all these other battle royales, releasing these free multiplayer modes, not attaching them to a single $60 purchase, huh?
Didn't they say that it was a free mode? It just was something that wasn't ready for the launch of the game. Like, didn't they say that the multiplayer was just not ready, and that they would launch it later on?
They said it will be launched later on as free to, I guess, the people who own the game. But I think that they should have gone a little farther and just released it as its own separate mode, free to everybody, so you can get more people into the multiplayer and longevity, of course. People to play that game. And I mean, the first Last of Us multiplayer was fun until they incorporated those DLC weapons, but that's another story for another day.
Another pay to win mechanic. Yeah, as far as Naughty Dog multiplayer goes, I really enjoyed Uncharted 4's multiplayer.
I liked it for the first 2 weeks.
I guess I can't say I super liked it because I'm trying to think back and I'm like, okay, maybe it was only the first 2 weeks I really played it. I think I got enough of my Superman flying punches out of my body and then I was done.
Right, yo, that game that game was crazy, man. But I think the most egregious Naughty Dog multiplayer was definitely Uncharted 3.
Uncharted 3, I didn't have a PlayStation then.
Oh man, Uncharted 3, that thing was the most unbalanced. Like, bro, they had these things called kickbacks and just oh my god. Even the worst of Uncharted 4's multiplayer does not compete with Uncharted 3. I know some people in the comments have played it. They'll be like, "Yep, Uncharted 3's multiplayer was just that, bro." That made what's his name? Like I said, I bring him up again. My homie, Broken Games HD. That man broke that Blu-ray disc on camera. Well, I mean, he tried to. That Blu-ray disc almost won because he was like, I'm done with this game. And he had to stand up.
It's that dual layer.
Yeah. It's that dual layer. But, yo, it was like some fun fuckery, man. But shout out to BG. That's the homie right there. But, yeah, like, guys, this was the first debut episode of the Sweaty Cast. And I'm just saying this just because it's the person I am. I really fucking enjoyed it. This shit, I did not
Me
expect it to
too.
go over so well. We had a lot of great people in the chat, a lot of good discussions and comments. I know people
Absolutely.
are going to be clipping some stuff. Gabe, thank you so much for coming through to this one. Of
Anytime,
course, it
man.
won't be the last one. We've got more planned,
No.
more sweaty topics in the future. But
Yeah.
where's the best place for all these lovely people to follow you and stalk you, Gabe? Where can they find you?
All right, so if you guys need to stalk me, find me, know where I live,
Oh
well, you ain't
God.
getting the address. I'll give you the state, Arizona. If you
They go
guys
they go
need
extrapolate. They go extrapolate, man.
if you guys want to follow me, I'm on Twitter at shutupgabe. My at is actually in the video. Two E's at the end. If you guys join the Discord server as well, all my information is on the Discord server.
Yep.
I have an Instagram. It's the same again as the Twitch, except minus one E, because unfortunately somebody stole the one E on Twitter, so I got screwed there. Other than that, that's the two places you guys can find me at. I'm consistently there. Like I said, I'm on the server all the time. I answer about 20 million questions a day in my DMs.
Yes, he does.
So,
yes, he does.
and then if you guys want to follow my Twitch, I stream here and there. I'll probably be co-streaming with Chris within the next day when we do the Back for Blood alpha. So if you guys again want to follow me there on twitch.tv/shutupgabe with just the one E. Other than that, that's all my places to go.
Excellent. And y'all know me, my at right down there, NeoGameSpark. That's where you can find me on Twitter. My Twitch is NGS the streamer. Gabe and I will be co-streaming that Back for Blood. And then all my other social media channels like Instagram, all that stuff is down below in the video description. And I got to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of y'all coming through and watching this stream. We had a good, consistent amount of people watching. It was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed it. I hope for those of y'all who are living in the Northeast, you got some entertainment during this impending snowstorm. I'm checking right now, and there's it's starting to pile up over here in New York. It's starting to pile up. I don't know if it's like anywhere close to the 16 inches people was talking, but remember the night is still young.
16 inches, this man.
That's what the news reporters they was saying, man.
News reporters are sus.
Yo, straight up sus, man. We got to get them a sus counter. But yeah,
somebody asked, is this actually going to be consistent?
You know what? Just to be realistic, I think that if anything, we'll probably make this shit bi-weekly. So at the very least, if we can get this 2 times a month, I think we'll be good. We'll definitely.
That'd be a solid record.
Right.
And then someone asked, when's the next Twitch stream, and are you going to get affiliated?
Yes. So I actually have to just stream 2 more times to hit Twitch affiliate. So tomorrow is going to be one of them, and I'll most likely be live Friday as well. And then by then, that'll be all the metrics that I have to hit, and we should be good to go.
Automatic. Yeah. It should be like, I think it's like basically automatic. And then and after that, you can get that partner.
Yeah, that's the next step, higher, further, faster. Oh, I'm gonna trigger some Captain Marvel haters in there saying that. Ooh.
Higher, further, faster.
But I mean, I think we triggered a lot of people today just saying positive things about The Last of Us. But it's all cool. It's all good, man. It's all good. Oh my God! Of course, this is the perfect comment to end. I come back and I hear 16 inches. Okay. Damn, Gabe, what's going on?
I didn't say 16 inches. You said 16 inches.
But you said this man said 16 inches. But anyway, we're going to cut it off here for the night, you guys. Everybody, enjoy your evenings, your mornings, your afternoons. And until we catch y'all on the next stream, stay sweaty. Take care, guys.
Keep it sweat, guys.
Woo!